Now, whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
Who are you?
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's just 7780 here with What Grinds My Gears presents the Gaming Grindhouse. It's Monday, and I got my co-host here, Frogzdopegaming. What's up, Frogs?
Yo,
Man,
having a great time, man.
I'm glad, man. Yeah, we got some topics today on the grinds board. My goodness, my goodness. I'm going to try to keep my voice a little low and not scream because I'm a little parched from screaming my head off when that one of our topics today. So definitely, if you missed that, you could see my 2 episodes that I did on Friday, and that's probably a reason why. Yes, so I have a little tickle on my throat. I thought it was COVID, but it really is just the Phil Ness, and Microsoft gave me COVID with their Xbox Live price increase fiasco on Friday. So anyway, so I got my cup of water here, and I'm ready to go. But anyway, Frogs, what have you been playing? Oh, audio is low, it says.
Man.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, because
is my audio low?
is my
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna increase mine. There we go. How's it sound? Oh, you know what? Maybe my mic is a little. There we go. Oh, sorry. How's it sound now, Buck? You don't like? Yeah, they like the harshness on my voice. They want me to yell, Frog. They want me to yell. Nobody wants me to talk in a nice soothing voice. Both are low, it says. All right, let me jack that
both
up.
are low.
Both are low. So here we go. We're going up now. See how that sounds? Is that better? I'm making the things up. Yo, what's up, Immortal Black? How you doing? Yeah. So just before you get into what you're playing, the reason why
go ahead.
things were a bit delayed was I was trying to fix this friggin' chat box. This chat box was giving me. I had to get that CSS. I lost it over the weekend, and I have to get it. So pardon the white chat box on the side, but I definitely wanted the grinders in here so they could see that chat. So I put it in here a little bit of the primitive way in here, but we'll get the fancy overlay for next time. So, but yeah, just let me know if we're still low audio. I could see maybe it could be the Discord chat. I don't know. I didn't touch anything.
I'm hoping not.
I don't know, man. Everything's maxed out, so let me know.
Let me make sure
everybody's loud. So
yeah, I should be loud. I should be loud enough. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah,
let me see if I hear it on the thing here. Everybody's loud. No, we're good. So we're good. Buck's just messing with me. Bucky, you need new headphones. Buck, you need new headphones. Yeah. We gotta send Buck some headphones.
There you go.
But anyway, Frogs, what have you been playing since we last spoke on the last Gaming Grindhouse?
Of course, I've been rocking out some Rogue Company. Let's see what else I've been playing. I actually I beat I guess the second game this year I beat. It's Doom Eternal. I beat Doom Eternal.
Oh.
Really good game.
I stopped
I could have beat it last year.
Oh, I got to the Mars part.
Man. Oh, I beat it and I was like, whoa, after I beat it, I was like, this was a good game. You know, this is really good. I understand why it was Game of the Year contender. It's a good game. It deserved to be in the Game of the Year contender. So I beat Doom Eternal, playing Far Cry 5 off and on with Luca Yardi. What else? It's a little Destiny here and there, Monster Hunter here and there, a little Demon Souls here and there. I've been dibbing and dabbing, but the game I've been sticking to the most and just continuously and consistently playing, I would say right now, is probably Road Company.
Hmm.
Man, our Road Company nights are hilarious. You know, it's me and my buddy Dre, aka Luca Yachty, and his wife, and then my wife, and then we're just sitting there having a great. We have such a great time.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
hear you. I
and
hear
the
you.
funny thing is, his wife really doesn't play games, but he says, I don't know what it is. He said, because she has her own PS4, he says that when she gets home sometimes, she will just get on two games. There's two games she'll get on by herself now. She's not a gamer.
Hmm.
She will jump on Road Company by herself and play, or she would jump in Fall Guys and play. And he said that's pretty good, being that she's not a gamer.
Yeah.
The fact that she would jump on those games and play, he said that's a big deal. So I enjoy playing with her. We have a great time. We have so much fun. We're trying to unlock the new. I got everything unlocked. I got the platinum, but yeah, that's what I've mostly been playing.
Hmm. Well, that's good. I've been playing some NHL, like, just to wind down some time, and then I've been doing that Hitman 3. Been playing that. I tell you,
I've
that's
been
one of
seeing
the
you play that.
topics. But I'll tell you, one thing I'll let everybody know here. Yo, what's up, Hero Killing? How you doing? One thing I'll definitely let you know is that on the PlayStation, you could do some finessing on there, where Hitman 2 is given out right now on PlayStation Now, and you're able to download Hitman 2 so you could get all the maps for Hitman 2 to play in Hitman 3 upresed. And also, I think they gave Hitman 1 out in PlayStation Plus or something. I had it. I don't know how I got it. I think it was on PlayStation Plus, but you could use that one. So I was able to get 1, 2 to play in 3. So it is like over, I don't know, 20 something levels, 25 levels in there, and each of those levels are massive with tons of things to do besides the hit. And we'll get into that in one of the topics. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. Also been playing Dirt 5. That is just a grind right there, man. It's fun. Like, it's I tell you, I'm amazed at the variations of the weather and the maps. Like, and there's a lot of maps, and there's a lot of different race courses, but there's time of day, there's different types of weather, and the weather changes the amount of water on the track. The snow gathers up. It's pretty dynamic, which I like that stuff. I think it's pretty cool, where it starts off not raining, and then it starts raining, then it gets that heavy rain, and the track gets muddier and muddier as you're going around lap 3 and stuff like that. Or it starts at the evening. Oh, it starts at sunset and then finishes off with a night race in the last lap, like it's what you're at. You're with your headlights on. So I like that dynamic nature of it. Also, like with the snow, it starts off with almost no snow, and then it starts gathering up, and you start seeing it on the tires, and it gets a little slippery on the thing. And then with the triggers, man, I tell you, the triggers almost feel like a force feedback friggin' wheel. Like, they really give that work, for the braking. And it's interesting when you race on ice. The brake, like, basically just goes down. Like, you don't get any kind of click or anything like that. You don't feel like you have any grip. But when you race on something where it's like, gathering mud or something like that, then it like has no more resistance to it. And pretty amazing. I also played a little Sackboy's Adventures. I know you played that. That, I tell you, that is an awesome game. We had a blast. My son and I were playing that,
I
and
love the music in that game.
oh, the music's so
Love the music.
good.
Yes.
And the level design is so creative, and I love the whole thing where, like, in it changes the dynamic when you play with another person, because you could throw
Yes, it
them.
does.
We did some of the special co-op levels where you have to throw people up to certain levels, and one has to open the door for you, or they got to jump on your head or something like that, which is really cool. But yeah, with that, I just think it's real, like, it's a really a cool game. But the other thing, let me see, I was playing other thing I jumped into. I know I got some older games. Oh, the biggest thing is that Uncharted 3 I finished. I did that stream with with Indiana Drake, and the and his thing was pretty damn cool. That Uncharted 3, I know it's not the best one for people say, but I tell you, incredible set pieces. My God, I'm gonna tell you one thing, Frog. I don't know if you recall, but that boat level When you're on that boat and it goes on its side and you gotta like escape it while it's on its side, that's gonna
Amazing.
stay with
Yeah,
me,
that's
man.
amazing.
I can't
Yeah,
believe it.
that's
Like
amazing.
you're in the rooms and like you're trying to jump on thing, like you lose all kind of like sense, but you're still trying to climb out of that thing and the water effects and stuff. Like I'm just amazed that was the PlayStation 3. But yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. Like yeah, I really can't believe that. And from what I saw, I was like, I guess it was only up-res and stuff like that. Like it really, they did the frame rate, they did a little bit of the resolution, and that was it. So for that to be a PlayStation 3 game, those are the kind of things that get you excited. When you see those kind of games, when those were on PlayStation 3 and you saw what they did with Uncharted 4 with the PlayStation 4, and then you see the PlayStation 5 and you just imagine, you can't imagine what these developers are going to do with it. Now, maybe not third party yet, but what these Sony games like the next Uncharted's, the next God of Wars, the next Horizons, what those games are going to look like if these guys were making these games look incredible on last generation hardware. I can't imagine what a feast of our eyes and ears are gonna play. One thing I do want to do is I'm going to do our intro to Welcome to the Grindhouse, and then on the other end, Frog, I just want to talk about the Resident Evil, and then we'll go to the GRINDSBOARD. So with that, let's start our intro right now. So, hey, what's up, Dominic? Yo, Pug, what's up? Welcome to the Grindhouse. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to just today, before we get to the topics for tonight, I wanted to ask you, Frogs, did you play the Resident Evil demo, Resident Evil 8, and what did you think of that showcase?
So I did play the demo. Really pretty demo. I like the way it looked. What I'll say is, I think I know why they chose. Let me say this first. I think I know why they chose the first person aspect to give you that horror vibe. That game, I think it wouldn't be as scary if it was in third person. And I think that's why they went with the first person, because they really can scare you in first person with the way they did it. But really nice looking demo, really really clean. As far as the showcase, I was I guess it's something I think they could have just kind of like did a little video and tweeted it out. Maybe they didn't have to do showcase for it. That the Resident Evil, whatever it's called, the verse, the little remix, whatever multiplayer version. I guess
yeah, none of that.
I'll
I
play it
don't
when
know
it
what they
comes
keep
out.
doing with that stuff.
I'll play it when it comes out. But
it's free with the Resident Evil 8, right?
Yeah, it's yeah. So far, I say I'm interested. I'll tell you this: I never beat Resident Evil 7. I played a little bit of it.
You never did?
And the reason I never beat it is because like I'll be honest with you. I feel like Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village are really, even though they're Resident Evil games, I kind of feel like they're not in the main storyline of Resident Evils. If you get what I'm saying, like okay, I beat 1, 2, 3. I beat 4, 5. I got close to beating 6. I beat 6, but I didn't beat one of the storylines. So basically, you got to beat all 3 paths. So I was on the last path, and I just stopped playing because that game. Yeah, 6 was really. It really wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
So why didn't you beat 7? Just because you feel like it's not it's not zombies?
It's not even that. It's just like when I started playing it, I was like, this is weird in first person. It felt weird. It's a really scary game, but it was weird. Like I got to the part, and right now I went back to my save the other day. I got to the part where you're in the garage with the guy, and you try to jump in the car, and he jumps in. He just starts speeding around, and he's just like driving around, smacking you. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like and it's not just a bad looking game. It doesn't resonate with me. Like I guess maybe the main line, because these characters. They don't I guess the characters don't resonate with me like the original cast of characters. So I'm not saying that Resident Evil 7 is a bad game. It's just not my kind of Resident Evil. Or as people say, it's not my Resident Evil. You
Oh,
know, like
okay.
when Mass Effect Andromeda came out, people were like, not my Mass Effect. I kind of feel like Resident Evil 7 and maybe The Village. It's not that I'm never gonna play. It's just that I don't feel like they're my Resident Evils.
Mm.
They are definitely for a different Resident Evil audience. Because I know some people say, well, if you're a fan of Resident Evil, you're gonna like them all. I don't think so. I think that, obviously, people will argue, but I think Resident Evil 2 is the best. It has one of the better storylines and better gameplay. And I think that, because I beat all of them from zero to all the way up to Veronica, and I just don't
Hmm.
understand why they haven't. I would love a total remake of Veronica. Veronica is very slept on. I remember playing that on the Dreamcast, and I don't know. I think what it is with me in the Resident Evil series, as I'm getting older, is it doesn't resonate with me as much because it's not um, uh, the main line. I guess you could say Resident Evil.
All right.
With the Chris and the Jizz and all that.
And I do agree. Like, I think that by having it in first person, there definitely is a scarier element to it than by doing it in third person. So I
Right.
do agree, that, and I know that is definitely, some people don't consider that Resident Evil, because Resident Evil's third person, kind of like popcorn horror with zombies and things like that, and what's all this other stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to say, I beat Resident Evil 7, and
Okay.
I thought it was an incredible horror game. I had jump
Mm-hmm.
scares. I was just, I was terrified in that game, to play it. Like, you had to have a
Let
good
me ask you a question.
mentality. Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you up. So you beat Resident Evil 7. Did you ever play Resident Evil 2 remake?
Yes.
Okay. Were you in Resident Evil 7? I think the thing that gets me is I'm not interested in the story at all. In Resident Evil 2 remake, I was more interested in the story and what was going on. And I think with Resident Evil 7, the story just it didn't make sense to me. I was like, what is going on? Like
Yeah.
you're in a house and there's a girl and she's evil, now she's not, she's the grudge, and now she's not. It's just
Yeah,
I
she's
was
the
like, what
grudge.
is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You know,
and I'm not saying it's a bad game. I guess it's just like I try to play it on different occasions. And I'm like, I just can't get into this game, and I
yeah.
don't know why.
And now we're dealing
And
with, in this demo, we're dealing with witches, and that was the biggest reveal, was that we're
yeah,
dealing
and
with
see,
witches, and there's some
I guess
werewolves in there, and
that's so weird.
yeah. Well, do you know what I think? I think, and this is, and also this is a different time period, which is kind of strange. Like, the 7 was, I think, a little bit more. 7 was modernized. Now this one's going back to like old castles, and in
Yeah,
this castle,
I'm
like,
like,
this
what is
definitely
this
looks.
timeline? They're
Yeah,
doing it
and it's
like in
Ethan. It's the
movies,
same
like where the
character
timeline is.
too. It's the
Yeah,
same
it's like
character.
timeline is all. I think, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Resident Evil 7 and then Resident Evil Village are in the same timeline, that world. But I can't see how they fit this, and I guess that's why it doesn't resonate with me. I don't see how this fits with the whole Resident Evil 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Because for that purpose, they would have to just redo all of them like they did,
Yeah.
7 and Village. And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe the timelines do connect, but I personally don't get it.
One of the things that I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna do my negative part, and then I'll go for the positive part of it, because the negative part of it, of the reveal, and just with what we saw, was, this is before I played the demo, was that it's called Resident 8 Village. And when they showed and they made this mansion as part of, like, hey, it's the mansion with the steps and the doors and the hallways and the cellar. And then I'm like, okay, well, 7 was kind of maintained, confined to like one house that had like other things. And it almost had that similarity with the original Resident Evil, where it was one big mansion and you're going doing, like, you're not out and about. That's why I think Resident Evil 2 was so cool, because you were out in the city and you were around, like, the things and stuff. But at first, Resident Evil 2, though, started
Right.
in they did kind of the same thing, where
They
you're
started in
in,
the mansion.
well, Resident Evil 2, they were in
Well, they started
the,
in the city
what
and
is
the
it, the
police
city
station.
hall or the police station. So the police station was kind of like
Yeah.
your mansion type thing that you're exploring it out. Like, that's
Right,
the
right.
kind of the same type of motif that they have, where it's like this big area that's just haunted, and trying to find out the secrets of it. So when I heard village, I was thinking more of like a town with a castle there, and like, you know, a little more open. And and I
Right.
didn't see a lot of that except for that
And
werewolf
it seems
part.
like it's gonna be in just one area.
Yeah, it seemed like we're just going to be doing this now. It's just another kind of castle type thing. And but you know, again, that's what they showed. I just thought there would be more outdoor sections, but there was a part where he was fighting a huge werewolf.
Yes, I
So
saw that.
you know, so I was like, "Oh, that looked pretty cool," but I was a little
A huge
disappointed.
werewolf with a hammer or something.
Yeah, yeah. But remember, like in
Something,
seven, like
which
in
is like,
four,
I
you
don't know.
fought a
Like,
big snake. You fought
I
a
don't
big
think this game
snake
is
in
gonna be
four.
bad.
Like there were huge, big
Right.
enemies in four. Like four kind of went off the Uncharted, like the crazy path. Same thing with five. Like they've been taking this virus and they've been trying to turn
Yeah.
it into like the virus is there, but it doesn't just turn people into zombies. It's just like this mutated thing that just creates monsters. And I think that's the whole point of where they're going with this stuff. Like this virus has,
That virus path is stronger.
yeah, it like create it just creating monsters. Like, yeah, it's this virus. It could be the Z virus, the T virus, the all the different
Right.
things. Like it was the sludge in 4 of 7. It was that black tar stuff that just like would just
Yes.
do stuff. And like, and I understand that, and I got to go back and remember 7's story, but I know how they try to tie 7 into there, where it was almost like the origins of the virus. Like it was like something where, or the virus seeped into their home, and they kind of researched it or studied it or did something with it where it just started
Hmm.
mutating things in the house. And this one seems more of, this one is more, it's like witches, and it's more of I'm thinking it kind of reminds me of a little bit my feel right now of a Van Helsing, like with like vampire witch types and
Yeah.
werewolves and this
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
setting. It's kind of giving me this Van Helsing type feel of that kind of that type of vampire-ish with werewolves and, you know, underworld, but not modern time, like old time type thing.
Right.
But you know, the one thing I do have to say is that, and it has the same type of thing. You put the eye in the socket, and then it'll, you know, it opens up the door,
Yes.
and you know, so similar things where it is. But the
So it has
positive,
puzzle. It has a puzzle element.
yeah, a little
Yeah.
puzzle. And I know this was more of an audio visual demo, but I got to say,
Right.
it looks so. This is only a PlayStation 5 exclusive demo. It's an audio visual
It looks
one,
really
so
good.
it uses the sound and fully for the PlayStation 5. It's only on the PlayStation 5 demo, and I have to say it looks friggin' amazing. The textures, it
Hmm.
looks like a real goddamn place, like that you're walking around.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And the sound is absolutely amazing. And this is the thing that I really wanted to emphasize, because I love headphones. I love sound. I love that kind of immersion with sound. And I have to say, this game with the distant sound, the close sounds, it really
Hmm.
makes you turn your head in real life. Like you're like, whoa, what's that?
Yes.
And you hear thumps and things like that. And it is, and this is the 3D audio that I know Sony talked about a lot. And I'm going to tell you, it definitely is similar to what they did in their VR, how that VR headset had. And I'll give you an example. In this game, when you, near the end of it, when the witch comes up and she bites you, it is an unnerving sound. Like it is like up in my face sound. Like you like if you heard it, you want to just immediately just push away somebody. You're like, whoa, push away, because it is like uncomfortably close. It's not like just like loud. It's just very. It's different than somebody talking in front of you. It is like those you know, the ASMR where somebody's whispering in your ear, where they're like, I'm over here now. Now I'm over, and it's like just uncomfortably close. Man, when she took a bite and screamed in my face, like I was like, whoa, like it was really like startling, because it was louder than, and very close sounding, as opposed to everything else that was in the game. Whereas I didn't want to get hit. Like I'm just like I'm really trying to run away because I don't want that sound that close again. And um it just was really cool to have that kind of immersion in there. And I think they could do some crazy ass things with the sound. But I'd say the sound and the look, you know, I like it. And I really did like 7. 7 was like the scariest game. Like I really liked the story to 7. I liked how it played out. But I know as for Resident Evil and the legacy of Resident Evil, it really isn't Resident Evil. Almost it reminds me of Frog, and I'm not gonna. This is not a negative because this is nowhere near as bad like the Resident Evil movies. Remember how they got crazy with Apocalypse and it's like, what is this now? Crazy. She's superpowers and she's flipping and jumping and multiplying all over the place. What the hell's going on? But it's still Resident Evil because there's zombies in it. And then they try to bring it back with Wesker and stuff like that with some known characters. But 7 and 8, these are kind of Resident Evil spin-offs per se. They'll tie in.
That's what I kind of feel like.
And another thing too, I get another feeling is that it's similar to, remember how they did like American Horror Story where it's the same characters, but then they're just kind of told in different things. Like we're at the Covenant, we have the sleepaway camp, but it's still American Horror Story. I'm wondering if they're going that where this is really not, this is Ethan, but it's, there she is walking around. There's the one everybody's simping for, that witch. And that's another thing too. Like, they made her kind of a little too sexualized to be scared of her. Like, you kind of like bite me, woo! You know what I mean? You're running around, and I see her, and I'm just
that girl's super tall,
dude. No, not that one. The other one, man.
No, not that one. The other one is super tall. That one is they made her really over sexualized.
Yeah. I'm like, she shows up, and I'm like,
okay,
who is your daddy?
Am I supposed to be scared?
Who is your daddy? Who is your daddy?
So really, really interesting.
Like, it's like bite me again. Like, you know what I mean? And like everybody's just going crazy over that one and it's like.
Get your mother, please.
And then she gets her mother, and then it's like that other one, and she has the claws in this thing, and she's just like.
I kind of feel like this is like you said. It's definitely like a side kind of like Resident Evil thing. It's not the main story. But they'll tie it in. Yeah, you're right. They will.
They'll figure
out a way.
Yeah, they'll tie it in and stuff like that. But like, I just thought that it was really the sound and the way it looked was very interesting. You start, as you see in the demo, you start in a cellar and stuff like that. And actually, when you get up here, when like in this area where you're up there, like I didn't really feel as scared. Like you hear some sounds, but the cellar stuff, like I'm just waiting for things just to jump out and scare the hell out of me.
Yes.
In that thing. So I definitely think it did as well. I want to see how the gunplay is. They seem to take more, like from the reveal, they seem to take a little bit more of with the gunplay and shooting things out of the enemies and how they react. And we'll see. Let me just get right to the part where at the end of the demo,
I think that's the other thing about Resident Evil 7. Like, they be shooting people. I'm like, they're just bullet sponges. Like, this is crazy. Like, can I just kill you?
Yeah, and what's interesting? It's like it's really like there is a courtyard stuff there, so like it is. They definitely could have chances for outside and things like that, and it seems as though they're
definitely going outside. I just, when I first saw this, I thought it was the original mansion from Resident Evil, and then I was like, oh, it's not.
Oh, that
like, okay, whatever. Yeah, the way she moves. This game is different. I would say it's different.
It's like, what is this stuff?
It's weird. And I was like, wait, why is this Resident Evil again? Like, I kind of feel like I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is this Resident Evil again? And it's kind of one of those things, like, this is Resident Evil? So it's that kind of feeling. Like, how is this, like, in my head, I'm like, how is this Resident Evil?
I know.
Here's the big chick.
And she has a clothes. One speculation I did see from that was I did see people were saying, like, oh, she could be, like, the tyrant with those claws. You know what I mean? And the fact that she's like really tall could be that, maybe she's like a nemesis or the tyrant or something like that, like an equivalent of them.
She's huge. That girl is big.
And people were alluding to that, like maybe like, and then I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, well maybe Freddy Krueger, what the cactus says. I'm back to the chat, guys. Sorry, I was just displaying that. But like,
Freddy Krueger.
ASMR Resident Evil. Yeah, exactly. But guys, hit that like button, share out the video. We're gonna get to the the grinds board soon. But yeah, I just thought that it just needed its own segment. I just wanted to definitely just touch base on the Resident Evil because it's gonna be kind of like it's not a next gen game, and that was another thing from the
which is a little
that announcement, right? Where they're like, guys, we're so happy to let you know.
The other thing, they made it seem like it was only on PlayStation, and then we knew it was a multi-plat, but they made it seem it was on PlayStation, and then like, oh, coming to blah 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 and PC and Xbox, and I was like, we knew it was everywhere.
No,
Like,
but
why make this demo? Why
they
make this demo only on PlayStation 5? It doesn't make sense at this
yeah,
point.
and another
Like,
one's
I
coming
don't see
later.
that point.
Yeah, but
I really
also,
don't see the point of the demo only being on PlayStation 5.
hey, Sony gets all
Like,
those
it should have
perks,
been,
man.
yeah, it should have been on. It should have been everywhere. We know where it's gonna sell best at. But I think the point is, why not just let this be a demo for everybody? It's a demo.
But you want to know what, Frog? I'm gonna tell you something. Sony, like, the thing is, Sony might have this thing with the demo, and I agree. Like, this demo should have been everywhere. There's no special. Like, it should be on the X and then the PlayStation. But you want to know what? When you get a brand new console, every little thing that kind of hints at to the future of this console. And one of the things that was a little disappointing was that this thing was also Resident Evil was also announced that's going to be a cross-gen game. So they're also
Yes.
going to put it on the other systems, which they basically said, like, oh, it was like a happy announcement. I'm like, oh, you know. And I don't know if some of these places intended to do that, or they're seeing the adaptation of these new consoles being really slow because of constraints with purchasing them. And maybe they're like, hey, let's pivot and let's get this thing on all the other consoles while people are still waiting here. Like, why sacrifice the sales of our game if people are not
Which I
grabbing them?
understand. That
And I
makes
can
sense,
understand. Yeah.
especially because you don't have the availability of PS5s and Series
That's
X's
the
just sitting in
thing.
stores.
Yeah. But I'm going to
That
say
makes sense.
the one thing that I say, and Buddy Cactus says, Sony gets the deals that Microsoft doesn't want to pay for. If you get exclusive content, people are going to go where the content is. And I agree.
That's
Yo,
true.
what's up, Ailish? How you doing? It's been a while. But, you know, one of the things that I want us to say about, you know, the thing is when I remember when I got the 360 and that Fight Night demo was like,
Oh my
God.
gosh, that game! Wow,
You know,
impressive.
yeah, and it was
I
just like,
remember that.
yeah,
Yes.
and that was in January around this time, and the demo
Super
came out,
impressive.
and it was just awesome because you're like, wow, like look at this, like look at this is next gen, and you know, playing the
I
Resident
kept
Evil
playing
demo,
that demo just over and over and over and over because I was just impressed by how
yeah,
good that thing looked.
I
Yes,
know.
that Fight Night demo was amazing.
It's so
I
cool.
remember that.
So like what I thought
Yes.
is like, you know, the power of a demo when you have the most powerful, like when you have the next generation console with you, like it really is it's cool because I was like, oh, let me download this and listen and you know, hear the audio, the 3D audio and see the graphics and like see what this game's gonna be. And you know, it's pretty cool. Like, you know, it's just more content for your next gen system. Even though it's a cross gen game, it's still like, you know, it's let's see the best this thing could look. And
Right.
yeah, and Sony likes to get that stuff. And Sony you know, Sony is gonna do that stuff. Microsoft doesn't do it anymore. And, you know, I think it is at fault that, you know, they're just they should do that kind of stuff. I know in their grand scheme of things that possibly that is not worth it in the long run for their bottom dollar, but it does do the proper fan service to do that to your core audience. And I think that has been the biggest problem that I've been hearing over the weekend and just complaints from Xbox fans about even what they did on Friday. And you know, they resolved it, but we'll talk about that. But you know, it just seems like they just got that finger right on the button where they're just like screw, and they're screwing the wrong people. Like you should, those are the people you do not take advantage of. I was one of them. You don't take advantage of your fans because they will be your worst enemies. And they will, and that's what you're seeing where a lot of these other podcasts and stuff that you know had that tie to Xbox and then just was just like enough. And what happens is that they become your worst enemies because they just they had a favoritism with your brand so much that you built up, and then just to just have that finger right hovering over the buttons, like how do we screw them this time? You know, do we make that game Gears Tactics? Only put that on PC. Don't put that on console. But why was it held off? If PC was more important, and why would you put that on PC, but then eventually bring it to console? Just put it on console at the same time. Like, what was the purpose of giving a PC an exclusive? Like, those are the kind of things where, you know, grab these exclusive deals. Get this stuff for your fans. You know, Resident Evil's a no name. Resident Evil demo, download today. That holds some weight. And you know, as short as it is, it's just little stuff. And know what? That little stuff adds up. The DLC, and the way, and even you heard in that show, like you said, like the way they presented it, it sounded like it was a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's coming to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4.
It made it feel like that.
He didn't even say. I was thinking, I was like, wait a second, I thought this was coming to everything. Why does this guy keep saying, showing on the PlayStation 5? This is coming to PlayStation 5 this fall, like on May, coming to PlayStation 5, and also on PlayStation 4. And I'm just like, oof. One comment, Ravenflow says, hey Jez, Phil Spencer downplayed market leadership having an effect on the third-party exclusives being exclusive to PlayStation. Oh yeah, of course he is. Because to them, that is not, like, to buy a game or buy something to keep away from your competition. The last time they did that really was with Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yep. And I think from there, it was just like this, like, it doesn't work, because you know why? You didn't pull any PlayStation people over. Instead, they just sat around and waited for when it released on their platform.
That's
so
true.
It really didn't do the things. And I think the issue is that they kind of did it a little too late. Like the momentum of PlayStation was just too much to kind of take this away. And one game is not going to do it. And I'm going to tell you this, moving forward, maybe we'll allude to it, but moving forward, even with the portfolio that Microsoft has, one game is not going to change things. Even if they have a one banger, it's not going to really change the mentality of it. They need consistency. They need a lot of work. They need to have game after game, hit after hit, to really garnish that momentum that people really want them to have. Even if they even if they have that game years from now, a 10 out of 10, is it going to drive people to the console? Probably not. Who knows where Microsoft will be by then? So even if these games come, Fable comes, it's a 10 out of 10. Well, you could play it on PC, and then you say, oh, it's great for Microsoft, but then it's like, people think, like, here comes Microsoft. Okay, grab the console. We're back in 360 era. Microsoft's going to dominate again.
Nope.
No, because
I don't think you'll get that era back. That was lightning in the bottle.
It's not coming back.
And that's it.
So that's what I mean. Like, people want great games, but people do want these games for clout. They want to be like, I told you so. And I just think that, even if these games do come out, it's a lot of work they need to do to really they got to start from scratch, man. And you see, starting from scratch, like I said this a number of times. I feel like they're not this is not their first console. This is not their first console. Like, this is their fourth console generation. Like, how the hell do you just stop making games and start from scratch, rebuilding studios and stuff just to get games on your platform? Like, and because you just cut off things like Resident Evil demos and not buying timed exclusives, and, like, working how Kojima got that Stranding, Sony gets Neo 1 and Neo 2 and Final Fantasy 7 remake and all these things, and these are opportunities that I'm sure Microsoft could have purchased and worked with, but they didn't. And even if they don't do those games, maybe other games, like, it's not my job to tell which games they need to do, but they just stopped doing it altogether. And I think that's the issue on the thing. And before we move to the grinds board, that's what I just wanted to say. Resident Evil, definitely awesome game. Soon the demo will be out. Glinda says predictions on sales for the medium. Oh, we'll talk about the medium. That is going to take us right into our next segment. Share it out, guys. We are going for our topics at the grinds board. Here we go. So, yes, we have our grinds board here, and yes, we do have the medium. Oh, did I not type it in? Oh, I didn't type it in. I meant to type it in. Whatever. That'll be on our topics. I said the medium was one of them, the medium gameplay that we saw. So with that, let me just first talk. Let's just talk about the medium thing, because that was one of the first topics. I'm gonna pull up the video. Frog, you saw the medium. That is one of the topics I didn't put on here. But since Glinda brought it up, we'll talk about the medium, and then we'll do I'll go into Hitman. But yeah, since Linda brought it up, that was a good transition. So, what about the medium? We saw the 14-minute demo gameplay type thing, and what did you think of that?
It didn't interest me. It felt like blah. Like what I saw didn't interest me to get hyped to be like, oh man, Xbox has a new exclusive. Even if that game was coming on PlayStation, it doesn't interest me. Yeah, it does not interest me at all. I don't know what they're going for in that game. Maybe they're going for a realistic, like, I don't know, Tell Me Why or whatever that game is called. I don't know. Like, that game is just like, from what I saw, it didn't. I don't know. I'm just not interested. Like, look at the animations of the girl running.
Yeah.
And I know this is just.
I just thought I saw
CG.
popping. Hold on. I don't know. I saw something. Let me just see something.
She runs weird.
The animations are definitely weird. But look in the distance of the frog, like in the woods here. Is that popping? Yeah, there's some popping there with the trees. All right. Yeah. I was just like, I saw something popping in the distance. But anyway.
Yeah, and I don't expect anything to be perfect, but this is a new IP, I guess. And who's making this?
Booga Studios.
Booga Studios, never heard of them. And is this an Xbox exclusive?
Boogers. Chad, who are they? They start with a B-O. Boobas. Booba
Studio.
We
can call them Booger because the game looks like boogers.
I think it's like Bloobers. I think it's Boogers, Bloobers, Buggers, something like that. Bugger Studios. They made Blair Witch.
Like console exclusive.
Bloober. Mark says Bloobers.
Bloober. So
I like calling them Bloobers. We'll call them Bloobers.
Is it console exclusive or not?
No, it's a Series S and X exclusive and PC. It's a next gen exclusive.
Oh, okay.
So this is not on the base Xbox One. Shocking.
So, interesting.
And it's 30 frames supposedly horrible. Because of the 30 frames because of the split screen that they do.
It doesn't look horrible.
I can tell you, Miles Morales' coat hair around her neck looks better. Her neck doesn't look as good as Miles Morales' fur. Miles Morales' fur is better. Glenda says boobies. They call Booby Studio.
I have so many questions. Like, why didn't this intro run? Like, why is her face dirty? Like, why? This game doesn't interest me. I have no interest in it. It looks very.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions.
It looks like I
want to have them answered immediately.
I don't know what to say about this game other than I'm not interested.
Yeah, so she's talking to herself. She's a medium.
Yes.
This is running in 4K here. This is captured on the Series X. The animations. This is the thing. We'll get into the where's the stuff where she's actually walking around. Here we go. Here's gameplay. That was just a CGI intro or whatever the hell.
I like how she's talking. There's no smoke coming out of her mouth after she took a drag on that cigarette.
Yeah, well, this is AA boobies. A book. I'm sorry. Who said boobies? Now they got me boobies on it. Glenda said boobies, and now I'm thinking AA boobies.
Boobies.
We got A cup. She looks like somebody says she looks like she's living in the Gears of War universe. You're right. That does look like Gears of War. Yeah. So let's see. Here's some of the gameplay here that they showed.
Which to be fair, in all fairness, this doesn't look as good as Gears of War on the Series
Here we go. So this is the gameplay. Hey.
Yeah, it's just not. I don't know what this game. Who is this game?
They make Layers of Fear. They made Blair Witch.
Oh God!
They made The Observer, I think, which I don't know what that is. A lot of these like kind of point and click PC type adventure.
Yeah, and I'm not interested in none of this crap.
The one things that I was thinking, when I see this stuff, and I think it's between an 8 to 10 hour game.
If you play Detroit Become Humans, looks better than this.
Like, I don't understand why she clicks on something. She's like doing moonwalks on the stuff. I don't know. It's weird. But like, yeah, Detroit Become Human, Until Dawn. One thing I want to say about those games was that it was similar to like walking around, interacting with things. But the thing is that there was variation in the story based on the decisions that you made and things that you did and things that you did in those.
Somebody said those animations are rough. I agree. Like, it just doesn't interest me.
You know, the one
Like
thing
it's
is,
look at that. Like you just like you push the clock gets pushed back like it's in an old Resident Evil game instead of her doing it with her hand. This game is just it's whatever. This game is whatever.
yeah, she has no
You know,
animation or
maybe the
story.
game will come out and it'll
Like,
be good. Maybe it has a good story.
and
But
the other
other than
thing
that, I'm
too,
not interested.
Frog. Like the other thing too is that this is a next gen exclusive game. You know,
Wow.
so this is like exactly what Demon Souls is to PlayStation. This is to Xbox. So,
Wow.
like, do you think it's fair to kind of compare it on the merit of, like, you know, what Demon Souls is compared? Because we
No,
can't,
it's
and we
not
can say
fair.
Miles Morales, but Miles Morales is cross-gen, so we really can't do that. Demon Souls, let's see, what was the other game that we could, what was the other PlayStation game that had,
I mean, look,
Night, what is it, Godfall? Godfall?
We've
The way
seen
Godfall
Godfall.
looked?
We've seen Returnals coming out. We've seen what that looks like. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
if
Returnal.
we're comparing this to this generation of gaming, what it's doing now, this still looks like it could have been played on a last gen console.
Yeah, I think is that the ray tracing in the hallway? Like, it's very static and very stiff.
Yeah, like
And
this
I
could have
don't
been played on the
know.
last generation console, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, like,
And any game can, but what I'm saying is like this doesn't blow me away. Like, oh my gosh, like this is just doing something new for the industry. It just looks really like whatever.
yeah. See, my thing is that I feel like if it was just gonna be static cameras and stuff, that this game could
Dude, it's
probably
like the
could
old
jack up
Resident
the
Evil
friggin'
games.
graphics. Like,
It's like the old Resident Evil games.
yeah, they could like jack up the graphics on this thing even more so, considering that this is like nothing's really moving. Like, you know, it's very kind
everything
of
is like
static.
My whole thing with this game is when you look at it, it looks like an old Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
And that's why I say like it's not doing anything really new for me. Maybe the story will pull people in,
That's what I'm
and
thinking. The story.
that will have to be the saving grace because I'm looking at this game. I'm
Look at
like,
the
look at
face.
the camera. This is like the old Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
Like before they remade 2, you know, and they did like 0.
But
and
I don't think
they
there's
did,
action like Resident Evil though. I don't.
Yeah, when
I don't
they,
think
okay,
there's
no, but when they,
gunplay and stuff in this
what I'm
thing.
saying is
Let's
like
get.
the camera and everything. It's kind of like when they did Resident Evil remake on the GameCube, and they did Resident Evil 0 on the GameCube. That's what this reminds me of.
Let's
Like
fast
without
forward.
the action.
Well, it's not horrible looking, but it's just
No, it's not horrible looking. It doesn't. This game seems like it's going to be boring.
Like for a next gen exclusive, it seems okay. It's $50 too. I watched it.
Yeah.
And you know, and in Game Pass, you know, there you go, right there. It's a fixed camera. But yeah, let me get into the whole double screen thing because that's its big that's the big calling for this thing is like the split screen. Let's see, where the hell is a split screen? Here it is. Hey, this is the split screen. Why it's 30 frames per second supposedly. So like, and this is where I just hair looks horrible. This is where I just think like it's unnecessary to have split screen. Like, this is the reason why they said it has to run 30 because they're running the game side by side, and it's just like I've seen this effect done without that. You know what I mean? We've seen this done in what is it, the Two of Us or whatever, that split screen type gaming stuff where they're rendering two things, but I just don't understand the purpose of the two games, like the side by side stuff. You could just go right to the one screen on the right and just you don't need to see her talking to an empty chair. But I guess that's the effect. Yeah, I call shenanigans.
This game looks
Nick
boring.
says I call shenanigans.
This game looks boring.
Like, see, you know,
I'm waiting
for.
like,
when I saw this too, I was just like, I don't know the purpose of why they need to do this game running in two different environments at the same time. So, I don't know.
You know what's sad, man? It's like I hate when I say something looks bad or boring and it's on Xbox because when people think you just hate Xbox, it's just like they give me no reason to just want that box of theirs to sit in my house. Like this game looks so freaking boring. Don't get me wrong, Sony has boring games and Nintendo does too, but for this to be a console exclusive and be in this generation, this game looks really boring.
You're talking 12 teraflops, Frog, the most powerful console ever. This is only on next gen NPC.
Yeah.
Here you go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing it. You know, I
Maybe
don't know
the only
why.
reason they didn't do it on the last generation because it wouldn't have ran the frames. They just couldn't get it to run right. So I can understand that. But other than that, I mean, this game looks boring as hell.
Yeah, it looks
Like,
so
not
rough.
interesting at all.
Well, and you know what? This is the unfortunate thing. I mean, the
Yeah, I agree
unfortunate.
with you, Nick. The story is what can save it, and maybe that's what it'll be. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, these games, man. This I don't know. Maybe the story will save it. I can't say it won't have a good
Well,
story.
Don't Nod's game. Remember that was another big deal. Don't Nod. Don't tell me why. Tell me why, or whatever like that.
Yeah.
That was from the people. Life is Strange. Like that was a big deal, right? Did Don't Tell Me Why get like recognition like Life is Strange? It really didn't.
No,
like,
it didn't. Well, nobody even talked about it.
I don't know.
Nobody talked about it.
I don't know what the missed mark is on this, and this is the unfortunate thing. A game like this, I would say equivalent to like maybe like what Concrete Genie is or something to Sony, or like the thing is
Right.
like the problem why it gets people like, well, why you put so much pressure on this stuff? The problem is because there is nothing else. So
Right.
the oil floats, the shit floats to the top. I'm sorry. Like when you release a game that's a next gen exclusive, it is going to be put pressure on. This is not a AAA game. This is not a big budget game. But the problem is that they trying to put it in there when they don't have a big budget game. See, that's why it's all about flexibility. It's all about variability. It's all about like you have your big games, you have this game, you have little games, and you keep doing that stuff. But you don't have your Halos, you don't have Gears, you don't have anything else to match those games. So when you give us these games get put on a pedestal and get extra kind of critique to it because this is what you chose to display.
I mean, look at that phone
services and console.
That phone cord.
It's looking rough. Hold on. Let's get to combat, I guess. Like,
wait, is there actual combat in this game?
No. Here's what the hell's this? They got some.
This game doesn't look.
Oh, this is the credits. Oh, here we go. Here's an outdoor environment. Let's see what this looks like. All right, this is Days Gone.
Oh my God.
Days Gone. So this, oh my God. So now she's just the medium, the Long Island medium. That's how I'm gonna call this game, the Long Island medium.
This game looks rough. As soon as you said the guys that made Blair Witch, that was a horrible game. That's why I'm asking, like, is this game console exclusive only for Xbox, or is it gonna eventually be on PlayStation? Because
I'm sure
Blair Witch was eventually on PlayStation. That game sucked. So
yeah.
You know, it just sucked. It was a bad game.
I'm sure this will be on PlayStation eventually.
Somebody said there's no combat from her. This game looks bad.
No, there is no combat. Her walking around, opening up doors, opening up puzzles, and hiding is pretty much it. She don't have a gun. She's not shooting people. She's basically helping Ghost get to the afterlife.
I could see if it was kind of like a Detroit Become Human, where there's some interaction, you have to make decisions, and they affect what the outcome is to your game.
Yeah.
But this doesn't seem like that. This seems like a very boring ass game. The story better be really damn good, because other than that, this game looks boring as crap. It looks super boring. She looks like a generic Jill.
Yeah. Let's see, what's this one?
Yeah, I saw that. The game did freeze for a second. It has some clipping issues.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Like we said, story can save it, but also technical stuff that could be an issue as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If there's technical things and hitches and pop-ins, and that could hurt this as well. For this, so we'll see. Reviews I think drop on Metacritic on Wednesday. It could be really scary. It could be really creepy. I could tell you, here's a monster here. Bloobers, there they are.
Well, we're talking about review sites like IGN. IGN are probably,
IGN got like an IGN first on it.
They'll give it an 8. They'll give it an 8.3 or something like that. Oh, Blooper team.
Blooper.
Yeah, IGN is one of those guys like they like trash anyway, so they seem to rate games.
Well, they got the IGN first. They seem like to be the only one covering it. Actually, IGN. They got that IGN first.
Nobody's looking for this game. Nobody cares.
Yeah. well, we'll see. Their reviews drop. Like, people seem to be, what do they say? It was some commentary. Like, it is what it is. Like, and again, it's Resident Evil. So this is where somebody wrote. This is where Resident Evil's 3 mechanics went. Who touched the brightness setting? People said turn down the brightness because it looked too bright. I guess at first it says she seems soulless. Her eyes have no life in them.
The Metacritic score, I would say this game is probably going to get like I'm be honest with you, probably like a 70.
Yeah, looks like her face is tired.
I would say at the highest it'll get a 74, and I would say at the lowest it'll get a 65.
Yeah, I think it's gonna pull up in the sevens. Like I think sevens maybe. Yeah. I think Phil's favorite number 69 maybe just to think fun. But again,
definitely those sevens.
I think that the final takeaway here is from what we saw of the gameplay and stuff. Again, it's gonna be story, it's gonna be technical stuff. But looking at this thing, just to looking at it, the thing is that I don't think this is gonna be the game that sells Game Pass or something along those lines. And here's the Returnal thing, just so we'll compare like next genness. And then this is from a AA. Now this lady does look weird though in Returnal, but this is the weapon. Oh shit, man.
Yeah, they made her look weird, and like I don't know, she's just a weird looking character. I think it's because she has blonde hair. My God, look at this Returnal. Oh. And they always focus on her ass when she's walking and things. Like, they always focus, like, right on her butt when she's on that slow motion walk. I know if you noticed that, I was like, why do you always got to focus on her behind? Anytime they go into a scene where she's, like, walking, they focus on her butt. Like, when she... This game, I think, what's going to make this game really impressive, I think, is the particles.
And what yes, the HDR and the lighting stuff, because I think this thing looks friggin'...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what's going to make this game. And the gameplay might be something... that's fast, and it's one of those games because let me tell you something about this studio. They make games that are hard, and I think the problem with this game is it's going to be so daggone hard that that's going to turn people away from it. So I'm hoping that it has how you play it. It looks like in my eyes, I'm thinking Metroidvania type of game, and I'm thinking a Metroidvania type of game that's kind of like a Demon Souls where you can die and you got to come back and read. But I'm also thinking that, because they make games that are hard, that I'm hoping that doesn't turn people. I'm hoping it has the right amount of difficulty, and then you can say, okay, you can beat it, but you can always come back and play it on a harder difficulty. I'm interested in it because it looks interesting. It's something brand new. Like, I've never seen anything like this before. If I had to compare it to anything, I'll say Metroidvania-ish, because I see her getting different stuff, and I'm interested. Just it's a sci-fi game. I don't know, man. Like, the stuff that we see, man. I just it's not hard to get people interested in new IPs, but when you create something that's so similar to what you've seen and it doesn't look. See, there goes her butt again. There goes her butt again. See. Every time she slow motion walks, they like focus the camera on her rear end. Somebody said cheek returnal.
Cheek returnal.
Cheek returnal. Focus on her cheeks. Cheek returnal. The only thing that kind of interests me about that game that is full price. I'm very surprised that game.
That's one of our topics. So $70 games came up over the weekend, and people this whole $70 push. Microsoft never really answered that question, but I think the reason why is because they really don't. What do they have that they could charge $70 for? I don't know. Like, that's why I think Microsoft really is not they're not charging $70 for Returnal. It's $50, but you see that game and it's from Boogers. It's a AA game. Now the developer for this has made Ex Machina. They have made what is it? The Resogun. So they have done these games.
They make good games.
Yeah, but they made games on the small level, like $20, $30 type games. This is their first big AAA game that they're making. Now, people are looking at it going like, okay, well, I think and then this had, and I was surprised too at $70. And Sony also charged $70 for Demon Souls. And the thing is like, we'll get into it, but people were kind of using that as like, well, if you're okay with $70 games, then why people we're making a fuss about Xbox Live, and it's like Xbox Live was double. That was 100% increase. This is a $10 increase in games.
That's totally different.
You know, we
I don't
did
respect
this.
game prices, and I'm gonna tell you this: anybody who's been playing games as long as I've been playing games, $70, and on my personal opinion, is not a bad price because games. Let me tell you, I remember playing games. I remember the PlayStation 1 era, $39, and then they went to 49, right?
Yep.
On some of their bigger games, they went to 49 on PlayStation.
When did they go to
PlayStation
60?
1.
Was that the
Most
360, right? PlayStation 3.
Yeah. Well, what happened is when they went to PS2, because they started charging $49 on some of their bigger games, when PS2 came out in that 360 area, games went to $49. Then the 360, I'll never forget the whole 360 launch. They said that games will be $49.
All their first party.
Their first party games will be $49. And I remember the first game that came out was $59 was Gears of War.
Yep.
When Gears of War came out, they charged $59 for that game.
And that was it.
People were like, back. And people said, why? And they said, because it's not a first party IP. It's a third party. We don't own the rights to it. That's why they can charge what they want. Oh, there's a
you know what? I remember that. Yeah. Because I remember they did come out and say all first party games will remain $50, and then everybody was going to $60.
$50 because from the PS1 era, they were $39. Some of them were $49. That was the bigger ones. Then the PS2 era, they went to $49, and some of them were $39. The PS3 era and 360 era, they went to $59. So we've been stuck at $59 realistically since, for the last what?
It was Gears, it was Gears. I remember.
So people got to really think about this. We've been paying $59 since the launch of the 360 and the PS4 and the Xbox One. So if we do the math, like we've been paying for the last 20 years, we've been paying like basically 20 years, we've been paying freaking $59 for games. A $10 increase, we probably won't see an increase in game. And here's the thing people got to honestly think about too. It depends on what the game is and the value. And this is why I say you don't need every single game that's out there. Some games you can just wait. You don't need to buy every single game. When it's an Ubisoft game, wait. Because it's going to go down after a month or two. Ubisoft released all their games at the end of last year, and within a month or two, basically a month, they were half the price.
Yeah, I agree, and I think JCat says is that Sony games prices are $70 in the UK, and that's equivalent to $90 US. Would you pay $90 for this? I refuse to pay $70 for games. The thing is that this is going to work. Like this is a test. To see if this doesn't work, they will lower the price of it.
When people say that, like it's a different. You're in a different economy. I can't tell you if I would or wouldn't. It depends on the economy and the value of your pound. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's different. It's like the same with the euro. It's like it's different. Like I can only tell you where I'm located at and what I would pay. Like $70 is not bad. I know in Canada is different. I know in the UK is different. I know the euro is different. So I can't tell you if I was in it because I don't know how your economy is. I don't know what your spending worth is. I can tell you. I know what I make a year, and I know what I can afford and can't afford. But I can't tell you what you can and can't afford. What I'll say is, for the gamer who's on a budget, $90 per game in the UK may not be the greatest thing, right? So then you have to pick your battles. You can't buy everything.
You can't buy everything. Yeah.
You have to say, okay. And I'm gonna be honest with you. How I buy my games is usually they say people buy 6 games a year, right? I usually buy one major game a month. So that's how I say I set aside $70 for one major game a month.
Yeah.
One. Well, and then I may not buy any game the next month or the next month, but then that means I've saved $70 twice. So that's what I'm saying. So you gotta. It's kind of like. Let me tell you something.
$70 is a sticker shock though for some games. Like I was surprised when this got shown at $70.
I treat gaming like the stock market. You got to know when to buy and sell. You got to know when to buy and sell.
If that's a load screen, if she keeps doing that every time.
Hold on. If you're buying physical, you got to know when to buy and sell. You really do. And the reason I say that is because I don't need it. Like I knew when when they announced another Assassin's Creed, I'm like, I'm not buying that. When Ubisoft basically announces anything that's an existing IP, I may get it, but I wait. Same with a lot of companies. EA, I don't buy any of the game. Look at Madden. Madden is freaking $22 for like the $99 version. Now you see what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think it also depends on the person, your gaming habit, what you play. Like when I go out and I buy my PlayStation games or my Xbox games or my Switch games, I buy their exclusives. And because I buy their exclusives, and I buy third party, but because I buy their exclusives, I can buy more games because they come in between in spurts. Now, when it comes to the big third party games, it has to be a game I really, really, really want. And I can only say the game that I buy every single year, even though I know it's bad taste and I shouldn't, it's Call of Duty. And why do I buy it? Because I know it's the game that everybody in my friend list has. Without a shadow of doubt in my mind, I can get on my friend list with 100 and something people, and I would say probably 70% of the people on my friends list have Call of Duty. So at least I have one game I can play with people. Games like Returnal and Ratchet and Clank and Horizon, and these are like, God of War. These games, they sell well, but in comparison to third party games, they're not as big, because they're
Well,
not multiplayer. So
the thing is,
this is what I say. I don't think there's a problem with a $70 price point. You have to pick your battles. Like Returnal might be a game that I may say, okay, I can buy that for $70 because there's nothing on the market to play right now. I mean, what else is coming out in this time frame? And that's how you. What else is coming out around the time of Returnal? Nothing. So guess what? I'm gonna play Returnal, and in 2 months, nothing's gonna come out, and then I'll buy my next game. That means I saved $70. You should be able to put $70. Not everybody can. I would say you should at least be able to put $30 a month aside for gaming. I know we're in a tough situation. I know people's finances. I don't want to start telling people finances, but what I'm saying is like you gotta be able to budget yourself, and you gotta be able to find like where you want your value at. Like
I know, but when everything is $70, like then if everything is $70, then you're sitting there going like, well, I only could buy one of them. And again, it's not about the thing is, it's not about. I know everybody has a different concept of what like a preference, like $50, $70. But the fact that these games are going to $70, it's gonna make deciding on them a lot harder. And I do think it gives more opportunities for those other games. But you want to know what? The smaller games now that were like indie price at 30 and 20 are now 40. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And 50. Like, so like, kid games that was the traditional $40 are like now $50. And now, the games that we thought were indie. And I remember, what was interesting is that during this last generation, I thought a lot of indie games were way overpriced. These games that I had made by two people launching for $25. And I'm like, who? What? Because I remember in the 360 era, 360 age, man, games are like $4.99. Indie games are like $4.99, $9.99, and $10 was the big one.
May have been 15.
20 was pushing, 20 was pushing it. But then when they launched this stuff on the Xbox One and on PlayStation, when I look at some of these indie games, I'm like, they're like $29.99, and I'm like, who are you? Like $29.99. I'm like, wait a second, like the bottom has came up. Like these indie games are no more. When can you find a game for $9.99 anymore? Like that was the 360 generation. Now indies are like up there in that price range. So now these games are going up there 70. I would say the one thing I was shocked with, I was a little surprised with Returnal because I thought Returnal was gonna be like a $40, $50 game, and when they came up with $70. I'm like, whoa, because I know what Housemarque made, but also
we know they make good quality games.
I know they make great quality games, but they don't make like a Last of Us. They don't make an open world RPGs. They don't make those games. And I think the issue that I have with Returnal, it looks awesome. I think the gameplay is going to be friggin' amazing. The problem I have with it is that if it's a roguelike thing, and supposedly when you die, you just repeat it again, but then the level just kind of modifies itself. If it is this kind of, and that's the whole thing, it's this gameplay loop, I don't know how much that is going to be appealing, and is that going to be worth $70? Like, I think the biggest thing that they really need to show is what the progress or what the progression is and what the story kind of elements are. Like if you're looking at a map at the bottom, it looks
like a Metroidvania type of game.
It looks like you're on this like arena map, and like when you die, the arena kind of randomizes itself and you're fighting enemies again and doing combos and killing things. I'm like, that seems very kind of arcadey type lower in price. That don't seem like
Right.
a $70 game when you're looking at a Demon Soul for $70, or you're looking
Right.
at
And here's what
a
I'll say.
game.
And
So
here's what I'll say, Jazz, and I agree with you, right? And this is why I say this is one or two ways you can look at this game. You can kind of wait for the people that you trust in the community to buy it, and then listen to what they're talking about and
yeah,
watch them play
I'm
it,
waiting
or
for
you can,
reviews on this to know
or you
exactly
can
what
wait
it
on
is.
reviews. Right. You know why I'm gonna buy it? Because I love Metroidvania type games, and it looks like I've been waiting on Metroid Prime 4 forever.
There's no
I just want.
online co-op element to this that
Yeah,
we know
it's that.
about. Like, that's
That
another
is
thing
that
that
is
adds to the value. If
yeah.
you could play this with your friends, so then, hey, you're getting it, so then I'll get it. We'll play together. So there's nothing like that in here.
I think Jack Move said it best though. Like, he thinks his game is going to be good, but he says that they make really hard games, and he thinks that's why it's not going to appeal
And
to
it
a lot
might
of
be
people because it's going to be
overpriced
too
out.
hard.
They might overprice it out.
So
Like,
I will say I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to give my honest opinion. I'm getting this day one.
and they keep showing the same areas too.
Yeah,
Like, I've seen they showed a little
and
area that looked like Mars, but
so
it doesn't look like there's a lot of variation in the environments
so will I be
so
a test
far.
dummy? Yes, and unfortunately, I'm going to spend my hard-earned money. And I may say, damn, this game was not worth the $69.99. I should have waited because, like for instance, Godfall
Oh,
was definitely
that was not
Godfall could
worth.
have
So
been
I'm glad I paid
that.
$47 for that one.
Yeah,
I did not pay
I'm glad,
70
that's what I paid.
because I got to buy
I
two
think
young
that
ones. See,
game
there's a
should
different
easily
environment
been
there.
yeah, Godfall should have definitely been a $39 game.
Oh,
But
Godfall! It
but
looked incredible. It was a looker. It was a
it had a
decent
lot of
combat,
problems.
but it was just a mindless grind. Like, once you get through
Yes,
slashing everything, like, you're done. Like,
it
I
wasn't
was
even
not
like
doing
it
Destiny.
wasn't even on the level of a Destiny. Like, it wasn't a horrible game, but
No.
that game should have came out at $39. With
Yes.
this game, I don't know what I guess the appeal for me is when I look at it, I'm thinking Metroidvania. I'm like, ooh, she's collecting new equipment. She got to put it on her arm. Every time she gets something new, it makes her stronger. So I'm thinking like that. Maybe it's not a Metroid type Vania. Maybe it's just a straight rogue. And every time I don't know how this game is going to play out.
I know,
So
and
will
that's
I
the
look at
problem.
reviews?
I
I
think
will look
that's
at
the
reviews,
thing,
but
and I'm tired of seeing them wake
I
up.
definitely pre-ordered it, so I'm interested in it. Um, so, and I'm not even just looking at the game. I'm interested because I think House Monkey makes good games. You
Yeah.
know, um, and I guess like I said, there's nothing else I'm playing
I
right
just hope they
now.
don't
So
price it out. But Frog, you know what? And this is to everybody in the chat, and who's what is it? Who that said? ZX the D says, I didn't think Godfall was it was gonna be good enough for $70.
no,
I
it
do
wasn't.
think Returnal will be worth $70. You know what?
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. Like, I think that there's a cool story
I
here.
think
Like,
it'll be better
there's
than
some
Godfall.
flashbacks. I do think, though, the one thing that, and first off, I'm gonna tell you this game is gonna be polished to the T. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yes.
There's gonna be smooth as butter. Combat is gonna be incredible. The story with the flashbacks is gonna be deep, I'm sure, because it looks like it. It's
Dude,
just
Housemarque makes good games.
they do make good games. They make traditional type arcadey games, and they said that in their dev diary, but they also are trying to add this kind of alien type world and making a story with this one. So we'll see where it goes. I think the biggest thing they really need to do is talk more about the structure of the gameplay, because for me, that is where I'm going to determine longevity. If there isn't a co-op, there is, like, if there is more variety to the levels, if there's like all different planets and things like that. I don't want the thing just show me the same map with different ledges, and then it just hits random, and then I get random enemies, just like somebody's just hitting the random generate button, and it just doesn't make sense. Because when people say randomly generated levels and stuff like that, I immediately think that sounds cool.
I would hope that's not it.
I hope there's some structure, because I wouldn't say it sounds cool, but it does get kind of samey when you see assets like, oh, okay, well, they're just throwing these guys at me now rather than these guys. And you kind of see the game's kind of like, architecture. Like, the fact is that the game is really just kind of throwing similar things at you on just a level now that has certain things. So I don't know how that works. We really need to see what the structure is. Like, I see that there's doors down there. Like, I'm looking at it now, like the map. Like, she has some doors here, and the map doesn't look like it's huge. So I don't know, like, and it's this kind of rogue type game where, you know, we have yet to really see it in this kind of arcade shooting type. Like, this could be something that they take rogue elements and they add it to like fast paced action gameplay. And
Well,
they identify patterns
you
and
know, it's
stuff.
interesting when you look at it when they pull it up and you look at the trailer, it says weapons, right? It says weapons, devices, unknown, and tools. So that's what makes, and it shows you all these like weapons. It shows you like, I don't know, like 8, 9 different weapons. That's
Yeah.
what makes me think it's gonna be kind of like a Metroid kind of Vania, like
It could feel
you have
a
to
little like
find the new
Doom.
stuff.
Like, I think Doom, like, you're gonna be doing some crazy like combos and guns and stuff. Like, I do think it's
Hey,
gonna
you
have
know
some
what?
Doom.
If it's like a third person Doom internal, like I could deal with that
That's
too.
what I'm getting.
'Cause
Don't
Doom
you think,
Eternal,
like, if you look at this part, like, I'm looking at this part right here, like, where she just, like, things are just going crazy and she's jumping
you know what,
and
Jez?
scaling.
Now that you said that, maybe it's a third person Doom.
It is like that kind of
that
like
would be
over the
kinda
top,
cool.
like, just crazy, just action. Yeah, because like if you look, like, it is just chaos. Like,
Doom
there's
is a
very
freaking
few points where
amazing
she's just
game.
like walking, like she's just like chilling. She's like always jumping
Yeah,
and
it's like she's
fighting.
always. So you think it may be like a Doom game where you get in the room and then you got these fights and you got to move to the next space and you learn a little bit more of the story. You got to
Yeah,
find secrets.
that's
You
why I
find
need no more
elements
of
to
the
power yourself
structure.
up.
But yeah, I think so. It looks like it has that feel with the ledges, the jumping, the boss fights, the
I
all
do
the just
agree
the
this game is going
gunfire.
to be very polished. No matter what, this game is going to be polished. Uh,
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
that's crazy. And then she has
I
that,
kind
and
of
then she has that thing where she could kill everybody on the screen. Like, that was
like.
pretty
I'm
crazy.
really interested. You know, I think what interests me because I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so that's probably what my biggest interest. I'm huge into sci-fi. Like any sci-fi game that comes out, I at least give it a chance. I like sci-fi has been my thing for quite some time, but I'm interested in it.
I'm interested
I don't
in
know.
this too.
Like,
We'll see.
wait, when does it come out again? Let me see.
It comes
When
out
does it come out?
March something. March?
Oh, is it March? See, so what's coming out between now and March? You know what I'm saying? Like that we're. Hold on, let me look. I'm looking my I'm on my PlayStation 5. I'm looking at my wish list, seeing because I got it in my wish list and I already paid for it.
I think it's March.
And they got different versions of it, which I don't care about the other more expensive versions. It comes out March 19th.
Yeah.
Yes. And they got a $69 version, and you get suits for the character named Celine. And then they got the $79 version, and you get a different weapon, a house secret weapon, some reflex stimulant consumables, a pulse artifact. I don't know, a digital soundtrack. That's interesting, but I'm not gonna pay an extra $10
I'm not
for
buying
a
that. I
digital
don't
soundtrack.
digital soundtracks. What the hell is that?
Digital soundtracks, and look, let me tell you something. If I look, I don't want a digital soundtrack. I don't care about it. I'm listening to music in the game. I'm happy with that. I'll pay my $69 for it. And if I can earn all that stuff in game that you're giving me for the extra $10, which I believe you can,
Yeah.
I don't need all that extra stuff. Yes, it is one player. And it says, let's see, this is what interests me. The description. It says after crash landing on a shape-shifting alien planet, Celine finds herself fighting tooth and nail for survival again and again. She's defeated and forced to restart her journey every time she dies. In this roguelike shooter, both the planet and equipment change with every cycle, facing you to adapt to your playstyle to evolve in the challenges. Engaging enemies, bullet hell fueled clashes. I don't know. Like when I look, here's the thing. Let's see what the PS5 features are. Instant loading. Tempest 3D audio. They supports that. The adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback. So it supports everything the console does. So at least we can say we're getting a game that supports everything this console does.
Wait, Buddy says here, Jez, we're losing the forest for the trees here. Thing is that this looks better than anything Xbox has shown. Oh, of course. We're beyond that now. We're talking like, the thing is that Xbox.
We're just talking about whether it's worth the $70
with the $70 game because Sony actually has
most Xbox games.
Yeah, Sony, and that's the thing. That's why everybody's kind of jumping on this $70 type thing because they think that Microsoft's not going to do it and Sony's just doing it. So is Activision,
but they put their games in Game Pass, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but
it doesn't matter if the games are good.
But what people are hoping is that Sony overprices their games and everybody goes running to Game Pass. Well, the problem is that the games that Sony is releasing are not going to Game Pass, and One thing that I do want to mention regarding Game Pass and $70 games is that they really don't belong in the same conversation, because I've seen people go where people have been talking about, well, why pay $70 when you could get games in Game Pass? Well, let me tell you something. The games that are $70 are not in Game Pass. If they were, then hell yeah, let's go to Game. Then Game Pass is awesome. But the problem is that the games that are coming out for $70, your Call of Duties, your NBAs, your Returnals, your Demon Souls, those games are not in Game Pass. We saw what's going in Game Pass. It's called the Medium for $50. $50 for the Medium, I think's a little much, but that's the stuff that's going into Game Pass. Or you get a game that really hasn't done so well, and that goes into Game Pass. Like, you're not getting the same games in Game Pass that you're getting for, with these $70 games, supposedly. Now, I'm not a fan of $70. I don't want to pay more money. But the thing is that, yes, it is a bigger pill to swallow. And I'm going to probably have a little bit, when a game is priced at $70, I'm going to be a little bit more critical and will step with caution. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to probably be like, maybe a little bit more review time. Maybe tell me a little bit more. Maybe wait on it. That's the kind of stuff that, oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 smooth. Get the hell out of here. Where are you talking from? Last year? Come on, Final Fantasy 15's leaving too. That's leaving this way, so go play it. Final Fantasy 15. That's leaving now.
You said Red Dead. Yeah, Red Dead did go on Game Pass.
Where is the big ones for Game Pass anyway? Like, they really haven't had Game Pass. But you have to admit, the games that are coming at $70 are not in Game Pass right now. And those games are not $70. Those games were older when they went into Game Pass. They had their time. Final Fantasy didn't go into Game Pass day one. Neither did Red Dead 2. They were years after those games were released.
You know what though?
You can't compare those though. You can't compare that because it's not releasing at their price point. They're going in after the fact.
It's funny that Smooth says that Red Dead and Final Fantasy went to Game Pass, and they did, and they reached their sale potential. They reached there's a certain point where you're just not going to, where your game's going to sell. You're like, this game is going to sell X amount of copies. And then once it gets to that point, you're like, okay, it's not going to sell anymore. And maybe we can put it into it like a Game Pass service. And besides that, it's still sold better on the PlayStation anyway.
It doesn't matter if it's sold, but the thing is that those games did not launch into Game Pass. If those games launch into Game Pass, then that is a great point, and I will go to Game Pass in it. But you can't say, oh, they're big games in Game Pass. I'm not saying that there are no big games in Game Pass. I'm saying that the games that you're getting now, people say, like, I'm not paying $70 for this game coming out because I could pay for Game Pass. That's the problem. Like, you're not getting the same games in Game Pass.
You know what it is, Jez? It's not that
that's the issue.
In Game Pass. There are big games in Game Pass, but all those games that are in Game Pass,
they're older. That's the thing. Like, you can't. It's two different conversations. Like, Game Pass has its value for what it is.
Aren't good.
Yeah, Game Pass has its value for what it is, but I'm not saying, like, you can't. I'm just saying they're two different conversations. You can't say I'm not paying $70. I'm just paying for Game Pass. Well, you're not going to get the same games if you're in Game Pass. Like, maybe you'll get them from first-party Microsoft if they do release them, or Bethesda, but you're not getting the same games. Like, if you buy Game Pass, you're still going to have to buy Call of Duty. You still have to buy NBA 2K. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're two separate conversations. Yeah. You're still going to have to buy those games. Like, so you're paying for the subscription, and you got to buy those games if you want them. Now, if you're fine with Game Pass stuff, that's what it is. But I'm saying that they're two different conversations. You can't just be like, well, Sony guys, you're paying $70. I'm getting my games for Game Pass. Well, I guess if you want to compare them on first-party stuff. But again, Microsoft's first-party, don't tell them about EA's entire library. Are you playing Madden 15 and 16? Frog was just telling me about EA's entire library. First off, all EA new games are only 10-hour trials. They're not day one
the reality
in there.
With the exception of their backward compatible stuff, EA's
library. I saw the fluff in there, man. They got Madden 15, 16, 17, and 18. And FIFA 16.
Game Pass is because they can add the 360 games in there. But without those 360 games,
I would not celebrate EA's library right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't celebrate. Yeah, their games.
No, if their new games are going in there, and if their new games are going in there day one, fine. Like Ubisoft, but they're not. They're 10-hour trials. They're 10-hour trials, which is good, but they're not their day one games. But I'm just saying,
I mean,
they're two different conversations. I don't like $70 games, and I said my approach is that I'm going to be much more critical of a game that's $70. Just like I'm looking at Returnal, and I'm not like all in, going like, yeah, here you go, $70. I don't know. I still got to hear more about it, and I got to see if I want it. And also, too, if $70 is too much for everybody like that thing, this is a test. Remember when they launched consoles? They launch consoles, and then the price, they're going to see what they could get away with. And there are some games that they slip in there that maybe are not worth that price. I remember, man, what the hell? Like, I remember when the Xbox One launched, and like Fighter Within was in there, and that was like $50. It was a Kinect game. Remember, Kinect games were cheaper than regular games, and the Kinect games were usually like $40, something like that. And then sometimes they would slip them in. But like, you got to watch during the launch, just like Godfall. Oh shit, was that me? I hear myself. Frog, that was you. But one of the things I have to say is, like, a game like Godfall, that game slipped in there for $70. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. I don't think Godfall should have been $70. But you know what? It was at the launch. It looked pretty. It was at launch title. And guess what? Let's slap the $70 price point. It's a AAA game. $70. You know what I mean?
He said Smooth came in here like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah.
No, shout out to Smooth, man. No problem, man. Oh yeah. He came trashing and Game Pass. Oh yeah.
Hey,
he's like,
I honestly say it like this, man. Everybody has their preference. Xbox hasn't been my preference since the 360. They just haven't been doing it for me as far as gaming is concerned.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it.
It's not even a fanboy thing. It's just about where the games are.
They gotta say, we gotta see, because
Sony's PlayStation has always had the variety of games, from the PS1 to the PS2, even to the PS3 when they were losing against the 360. They always had the biggest variety of games.
Yeah,
you know, and I think it's hard for for me, it's hard to take anybody serious that can't understand when you just look at history can change, but unfortunately, with the game history, like Sony, if it wasn't for Nintendo, there would be no PlayStation. And if it wasn't for PlayStation, there would be no Xbox. And competition is good. That's why I think that when they say we're not competing, it's stupid. Like,
nah,
Nintendo,
they're competing.
Sony wanted to be a partner with Nintendo. Nintendo screwed them. They created PlayStation their own, and they destroyed Nintendo. They destroyed Sega. Xbox tried to go in there and buy Sega. They tried to buy Nintendo. They even tried to partner with Sony. The bottom line is Microsoft's entry to the gaming industry was because they saw a decline in the PC gaming market, and they said, well, maybe we can create a home console to take those PC players. And my whole thing is, like, they were great. Their first console, it was a fight. It was an uphill battle, but they couldn't compete because you can't compete 23 million consoles against 155 million PS2s. They were even better with the 360. They had a lot of new ideas. Their games were coming out. And then it's like, that's it. That's the only generation that really like they got it right.
Well,
they haven't got it right since then.
Oh, they got different people now. But one thing I wanted to talk about is the speaking about the whole sales thing. We'll get into the Hitman stuff, but a couple of things came out. But again, it is the Hitman sales that showed up here, where they said that Hitman 3 UK charts said that they sold, and this is GameIndustry.biz. We're going to share my thing here. So they said that in the UK, because this is the only place that gives us goddamn numbers anymore. The US is a bunch of bitches. You don't give us numbers anymore because everybody is finessing everybody. But the UK don't give a shit. So they're basically saying right here. So Hitman 3. Number one selling game in the UK, and it was Dominant Edition, accounted for 49% of the sales. The Xbox version accounted 27%. I guess that's Xbox all versions. And the PS version made it for 25%, which is pretty big that Hitman sold, that big on the PlayStation. Considering, like, I keep hearing about these PlayStation stocks are very low, and it's like, I guess it's enough to sell that kind of structure. Like, the way we hearing about it, it sounds like the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox, they just bundle it there. But like, the thing is that you wouldn't think that the PlayStation 5 is more prevalent than the PlayStation 4, but it looks like that a lot of those big first day buyers got on that PlayStation 5 and are buying that stuff, because I was surprised more of the difference of the 49% to the 25%. Between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, thinking that there's not enough PlayStation 5s out there to go over the PlayStation 4, but I guess it did. Miles Morales still holding strong. Animal Crossing, or some plays that thing. Mario 8 Kart Deluxe, Jesus.
Well,
My God.
guess what? You know what? The
And Ring
Xbox
Fit,
version was
Jesus.
the 27% Xbox version. I have. Let's see. I think I'm a psychic. Xbox guys will wait for this to come to Game Pass. That's why they're not buying it. They'll just wait for it to come to Game Pass. They're like, we didn't buy it anyway. So,
yeah, like I could say, like, you know, the thing about, well, it just goes to the thing that I was saying. Like, I wouldn't blame it totally on Game Pass, but I do have to say, like, the thing about Game Pass is that if you're investing in Game Pass, though, and you're paying a monthly subscription, like, you might be less inclined to go out and buy a game brand new because you're subscribing. Like, you invested in Game Pass. Like, that is kind of like the equivalent of not double dipping, but paying for two things. Like, if I'm paying, like, you know, I feel like if I'm subscribed to Netflix, to Hulu, and to HBO, like, it's a little daunting to me when I got to go pay $20 to now rent a show that just came out on TV that's in the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like, $30 to watch Trolls or something like that, and it's just like, wait a second, I'm paying all these subscriptions. There's got to be some movies on here. Like, why? But the thing is that that's the only way to watch that movie at that time. So, like, you kind of wind up doing this subscription thing and buying a movie. Or, like, I'm not like, hey, you could go buy all these things, these DVD, these Blu-rays, and all that other stuff, but then you find out it's on Netflix. Like, you're like,
do you think Hitman will end up in Game Pass? I think it will.
Maybe. I think it will, but, like, not any. It actually was, like, the biggest selling Hitman for them. So I think they're going to ride this out.
End up in there because Hitman never sells big. So I think
but this one did, though. So I think it'll show up in Game Pass, but not now. Not now. Like,
no, not right now.
I would say, you know, maybe Christmas, maybe fall.
Yeah.
Grinds with movies, that's like Grinds with Game Pass.
Hitman will be in Game Pass before the end of the year, guaranteed, because that game doesn't sell.
It might be.
It's so I definitely think because that's a game that's very for a small audience. But so I definitely see that game. So the King David, you'll get to play it at Christmas time, man. Don't worry about it.
So I say, Buddy Cactus says, Jez, I don't buy any games on my Xbox with my Game Pass Ultimate, but I bought Miles Morales day one. There's no incentive on Xbox to buy games. That's the way Microsoft made it. Agreed.
Yep. There's no incentive.
But the thing is that if you subscribe to Game Pass and you want to play Hitman 3, you got to go buy Hitman 3. Or you just stay and wait, which, again, like, and I think, you know, they are kind of teaching, like, the thing is I feel that they are kind of enabling, if you're on Game Pass, to, like, you have a choice, obviously, but they are enabling people to kind of just not run out and buy games day one, which I am sure some developers are kind of like, you know, that's not too high. And you can see how some developers have already come out. You know, I'm not going to call Cyberpunk respectful anymore, but they were fast to be like, we're not in Game Pass, because somebody already said that. And again, I think it was that
game is not going to Game Pass.
I think it was that Grub guy, man. I don't know what he was the one talking about Xbox Live being for free, and then he talked about Cyberpunk going to Game Pass. Like, I don't know what's up with Jeff Grubb or whatever, but I don't know why he keeps doing certain things. Like, he keeps, I don't know, really weird. And then the other thing is like, the other game that came out was Fall Guys. They're like, oh, Fall Guys in Game Pass, and they came out like, no, we're not. So, like, I do think that, you know, saying you're launching in Game Pass could jeopardize sales. Obviously, it makes sense. Like, if you're going to be going somewhere where people already subscribe to you, like, nobody's going to run out and buy your game on that platform, especially when they find out if you're going to Game Pass. Like, it could be a death sentence for some games. Not all games, but some games. It could be like, oh, no.
I think the games like the Halos and I think games like the Gears will still sell big, because I think Game Pass, even though it's a thing that exists, I still don't think it's big enough to where, you know, you got the 40 million user base, 50 million user base that really knows that those games come in Game Pass. There are people that just know a new Halo's coming out and they just go buy it at the store. Or you get a discount
on the games too, like
and they don't care about this in Game Pass. They just want to experience that.
But that's if they get there.
So that's what I think. I do think that there's certain games outside of Game Pass that will sell. Halo will still do good numbers. Gears will still do good numbers. But I think that you
I think they're
have
gonna
some
do
of the
good numbers
games
on
in there.
Steam though. Like I don't think they're gonna
Yeah,
sell
yeah,
on
yeah.
that. They're gonna do numbers on Steam
Yeah,
because Steam you got to buy it.
I think the biggest thing right now, and I've been saying this for like the last year or so. I've run into so many people they claim to be these PC guys. I started to realize the more I talk to them, they're Xbox guys. They're disgruntled Xbox guys, and that's why they want
The old
everything to be
cheer
on
club.
PC.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
gonna name names, but
I don't know what his
I
deal
run
is,
into
but he just seems to be caught in this whirlwind of stuff. But the one thing I do want to say, before I get off the Hitman thing, we're talking about the sales. So I did play Hitman 3, and I have to say, it is Hitman. Like that. The thing is that they have some great set pieces. Like the environments are the main attraction. Like the levels are the main attraction. What's going on? The amount of NPCs on the levels. I do think that that is the main attraction. The animations, the gameplay is a bit antiquated. When you look at Hitman 3 versus Hitman 2 and Hitman 1, it's the same button prompts. You could do a little bit more stuff, but really the controls have yet to evolve. On Hitman for what I feel. So like I think that the set pieces so far, I've played in Dubai, and then playing some of the Hitman 2 levels, and Hitman 1 levels. The amount of stuff you can do the set pieces are really cool. And just trying to get through and how you're gonna kill them. I killed one person with throwing a friggin' banana at their head. I do think that is cool, but definitely the animation, the control, they're purposefully slow. Like if you get in a gunfight, you're done. Like if you get caught, you're done because like it's not meant for you to kill 30 people with a machine gun and run away. Like the controls are not that smooth. And I think that's perfectly done. Thank you, Pug Channel, for the emoji of the banana. Yeah, I did double fisted that thing over my head and just killed somebody with a friggin' banana because that's what was there, man. I had to use my space, but the fun part of Hitman is just messing around with the environment and the people and just doing some weird ass shit. Like, man, you could, like I said, killing somebody with a banana or, setting up a trap for somebody so you could gain their disguise and then go in the back and do other things. Like, what's cool is if you kill a security guard, then you could walk around with a gun and nobody would say anything. But then there's certain characters that know their staff and they might recognize you and they're like, hey, what's going on? And then you try to lose them in the crowd. And the interactivity with the levels, the stuff that you can do, like you could like set traps up. Like I killed the pilot and then hide and put some bombs on the plane so when they escaped, I took out some guys with wrenches, with wires, with knives. Like it's pretty fun. The throwing stuff at people's heads and killing them with it is pretty awesome. Like I was on the racetrack and I wanted to get into the security section and actually I went into the tech room and these levels are so deep. Like there's tech rooms, there's friggin' security, there's 3 levels of security. So if you're like 1 level of security and you want to get up to the 2nd level, it's like, oh no, you're not allowed here, you're at like level 1 security. So like you gotta kind of think it's like a puzzle, but it's a better puzzle than Watch Dogs. Like that shit was boring. This is like a puzzle of people and interactivity, and you could create distractions and do this stuff. And it's just a playground to mess around and then get you hit. So, I recommend it. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that you could play all the levels on the one game. They got a campaign, 3 campaigns that you play if you didn't play any other Hitman. And they still do the contracts where people create their own contracts. And you could kill different people with different scenarios. You got to be dressed as this. And then within the levels, not only do you do the hits, but then there are kind of mini stories in there where you could find somebody that says, hey, they want they want this type of drink. This is their favorite drink. And you hear people over talking. So then you could become the bartender, make the drink and poison it and give it to them. And there's all different ways of killing your targets, but then there's also kind of side missions as well. But to do it, I think it's pretty interesting. It's not going to be for everybody. I haven't played Hitman in so long, so to get back into it, it was pretty cool. But the fact that it has all 3 of them in there that you could get, because I said it's in PlayStation now, so you get the maps if you download it. I think it's in PlayStation now until middle of February, and I got the first Hitman with PlayStation Plus, so I was able to import all those levels right into Hitman 3, and they all are up-res. And the game looks great. Like, it looks really sharp. The other thing I wanted to mention too is I played it also Hitman VR, and that is pretty lit. Those are all the same levels, the same people, and it looks pretty sharp in VR. However, you got to use the DualShock 4 in it, and because that's how you control the hands. I was surprised it doesn't have the. I don't think it uses the move. I tried the move, it didn't work. So it's a little awkward trying to swing around the DualShock. I mean, 4 when hitting people. But the one thing that I have to say though is if you get queasy, I'm not into using the controller and sitting with the VR. That I just don't like. I don't like sitting there playing a traditional game with the VR headset because it can get a little nauseating. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe standing up might be better. But it is cool if you can just get in there just to do some messing around and stuff. It's pretty interesting seeing these set pieces at that level that you're standing there and you can look up, and it's pretty cool because like in Dubai they do like this big celebration where a whole bunch of ribbons come down, and when you're in the game you're playing it, but like if you're in VR and stuff you're looking at people's faces and stuff, and all of a sudden these ribbons come down and you look up and you see it all coming down and stuff. It's pretty immersive. It's really cool in that. So but yeah. Hitman 3 is pretty good. Wait for sale, I guess. If you're not into Hitman, like it's definitely it didn't change. That's the one point I want to make. Like it did not change from 1 to 2 to 3. So it's just different set pieces. Like he does the same kind of things, dragon bodies, shooting things. There's just like more stuff to do in these levels, and really the levels are the set pieces, not so much him and his abilities. But that's about it with Hitman. Frog, I know you didn't care. You were quiet last week when we talked about Hitman. I got pulled into the hype of the reviews, and then I started playing Hitman 2 while I was waiting for Hitman 3, and I was like, oh, I want to try Hitman 3. So
not a big Hitman
not a
fan.
Hitman fan.
I think when it comes to stealth games, I'm really like BG. I'd rather play a Splinter Cell game over a Hitman game. Yeah, BG said something I totally agree with. Like Hitman is like, the whole and Splinter Cell, the whole level's the enemy. In Hitman, you have certain perspective enemies, and you're changing costumes. Whereas if you're playing Splinter Cell, the whole level's the enemy. You don't want anything to see you. Whereas Hitman, you're kind of like trying to, go over here and not be seeing where you're killed. Don't get me wrong. I think the game is cool, but it's just not my type of stealth game. I don't think there's a total problem with it, but it's not my type of stealth game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I don't think it's horrible.
All right, it's decent. And the next topic I wanted to jump into real quick is this. And I don't know. I saw this thing. I threw it on here, but it's the VG chart stuff, which I don't even think you would believe this stuff anymore. But I'll show it.
Oh God.
I don't know. It's talking about console sales. Like I really think we're not gonna know until stuff. I just saw this news about sales, the week 9, and just what's going on with the European weekly sales, and how the Switch is there, and Xbox is there. I think we kind of knew this stuff was going to happen. I don't think we need charts, and I don't even think these are real anyway to begin with. Like they're just kind of estimated ones, but they're showing that the we're looking at, what is this, the PS5 and the lifetime sales and stuff. They're saying around 5 million. I was really surprised. One thing just regarding sales, I was really surprised that Sony didn't reveal any kind of sale numbers around the CES presentation like they usually do. They've been kind of quiet.
I think Sony's waiting for March, that annual year mark, when they're like, okay, our year's over. I think that's what they're waiting for, and then they're gonna say we've sold, probably by March, I would say over 10 million to date. Because I do believe they can keep the stock up. They'll sell easily by March. They'll be way over 10 million, which is pretty damn good. But the system, I would say that we would have more PlayStation 5s and Series X. I'll give Series X credit for this. More would be sold if they can keep the stock and demand there. I think that with it not being able to be available, I think that's the problem. But I think both consoles would sell very well if they could keep the demand there.
Yeah.
I just think they can't keep.
We're not gonna know until they're like both on shelves and they could get it.
When they're sitting on shelves, and that's my buddy's like, I'm not getting a PS5 until I can walk into the store and just pick it up off the shelf.
Yep.
I was like, hey, you're not gonna probably get one until like March, April. He was like, I'm cool with that. He's like, I'm in no rush. He's like, he's like, I have so many PS4 games. He's like, I'm cool with that. But he doesn't see the big difference. But then he comes in my house and he sees the PS5 and he sees me playing games on there. You know that like for instance, he watched me playing Ghost of Tsushima. He's like, "Why does this game look so different?" I was like, "Hey, it's 4K 60," and he was like, "This game looks so smooth." And then he saw me playing FIFA, the PS5 version
Oh,
of FIFA.
FIFA looks
He's like,
great.
"Yo," he was like, "This looks so good."
Yeah,
And
FIFA
I was
looks
like,
great,
"Yes."
man.
So and I told him, I said, here's a great thing. By the time that you invest in your PlayStation 5, you'll have so many things to play. I said day one adopters kind of always get screwed. I said by the time you get your PS5, all the great patches will
Oh,
be
they're gonna have
out
a
and
whole
the system.
library of games to
Yeah,
play. Yeah,
you'll be good.
totally.
I said you'll be good.
Yeah.
You'll be good.
Quick on the next topic, we jumped up around here. The Konami restructuring. My take on it is Konami is trash. I hope they sell off their IP so other people could use them, like
Thank
Silent
you.
Hill, and
Thank you.
they're garbage. So that's all I got to say about Konami. Next topic for me.
That
But Frog, what do you think?
Hey, point blank, straight to the point. Thank you. I agree.
They're
Konami is
trash.
straight trash.
They're garbage.
Straight trash. Garbage.
Give off
They
that
need to
IP and move
sell
on.
your IPs and move on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All I
Thank
want
you,
is Silent Hill
thank you.
IP, really, and the Metal Gear. I guess those two IPs get off of you. I guess they could keep the Soccer version, whatever
Yeah,
the hell they
just
do.
oh man,
Like,
their
they're a
IPs are
mess.
so horrible.
Yeah.
Their IPs are just like, I don't know, man. Damn.
Phil Ness is
Yeah, I
buying
agree with
Konami
you,
for the
man.
toilet. Konami's garbage. Konami is
Yeah,
garbage.
Konami's
You know, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They haven't released a decent
nope.
game. They're just they handled the whole Kojima thing like retarded. They're done. I don't even care. Let them restructure. Let them just give us the IPs and move on. Castlevania 2, Glinda says, holy shit. Sell off your IPs and do
Oh my
something with them,
gosh.
you son of a bitch. Konami,
Hey,
please.
let somebody make a Castlevania game in the Thresh of a Demon Souls type game. That would be dope.
Oh, yes.
That
That's
would
right.
be dope. I need that in my life.
And then we go
I
to the
really
next
need that in my
topic.
life.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Frog, Ninja and the kids. What does he have to say? What does Ninja have to say about the kids?
God. Okay, so
Ninja thinks he should. Ninja thinks
let
parents should parent their kids, according to his interview with the New York Times.
Let me
Now,
read.
one second. GameSpot did
No, you gonna
kind
read
of.
it?
No, I don't have it up. I don't think I could go to New York Times, but like GameSpot did pull this out, and they kind of pulled this out specifically, but I think he was asked a different question, like the question, and he answered it. But Frog, go ahead. You talk about it.
So basically, Ninja thinks parents, like you said, parents should parent their kids. They said the popular streamer said it's not his job to teach kids about racism and white privilege. Excuse me. And there's two things I'll say to this, right? Let's see. So this is what they quoted him saying. It comes down to parenting. Ninja said, "You want to know who your kid is? Listen to him when he's playing video games when he thinks you're not." Here's another thing. How does a white kid know he has white privilege if his parents never teach him or talk about racism? Ninja went on to say it's not his job to teach kids about culture topics related to race because his first instinct is to assume he's being trolled in the chat.
Yeah, that's
He said if they're gaming, and their first interaction with racism and one of their friends saying the N-word and they have no idea what it is or what it is wasn't a stream, Ninja asked, is it my job to have a conversation with your kid about that? No, because the first thing that's going to my head is this kid's going to do some purpose because it's trolling me. If someone says a racial slur on someone else's stream, it can potentially get the streamer banned. It's awful, but it's the first thing I think of. At the same time, however, Ninja noted that the internet's illusion of autonomy doesn't embolden people to say what they want. Ninja still thinks parents should get involved.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I have to say.
And also, he said
this.
it's not just gaming too; it's just internet culture.
It's not just gaming. I agree and disagree. Right? It's not. It's my job to teach my children. I totally agree with that point. Right? It's my job to teach my children. I totally get everything he's saying about that. Where I disagree is you are in a position of influence, and it's not just your job, but you're in a position of influence. You're just like an actor, you're just like a celebrity. People know you, so you have the ability to influence people. So you can kind of give these children that watch your streams you can give them some great advice or good opinions. I don't know if it was Ninja. I don't watch Ninja, so I don't know a lot about him. I don't know if it was him or PewDiePie or one of those. I'm just gonna say white the Caucasian streamers that said the N word and got caught up, or said something racial and got caught up, because they all do it. To me, in my eyes, they all. That's why I don't really not
Look
watch
at
any of them.
PewDiePie. PewDiePie said it on He Said It.
Yeah, so see what I'm saying? And I don't watch the guy, so I don't know. So when it came out, I was like, oh my God, PewDiePie said that. And I was like, I could care less because I don't watch him.
Yeah.
But there again, you are an influencer. You have this this large following of young, let's just put it out there, young white kids that watch you. If you say it, they're gonna say it too. And now you're saying, well, it's not your problem that they say. It's just like when
Frog, they don't even know. Like, if you look at the chat and stuff, you don't even know who, like, you can't even say who's saying it. It could be any type of culture saying it on the thing. It's just not.
Like when Rihanna said this. Rihanna said this. She said, look, moms, I'm not a role model to your little daughters. She's right.
But
She's
the
not
thing
a
is,
role
Frog,
model, but you have an influence.
You're right. That's what I'm about to say. They can't. First off, if you're getting paid and you are on that thing and you make your money off of that, you are an influencer. They say this with athletes the same way. You know, people look up to you because you are put in that position. Whether you want it or not, your success and capabilities put you in that position, and then you in that position should feel a responsibility that there will be some idolization of you. You don't have free will. When you turn on that stream camera, when you go on that court and you come off that court, you know, that's why even actors and actresses, like when actors, when they come off and they're like, they do this sort of performance, but they're real assholes. Like when you have to take a picture with them or something like that. Like
Tyrese. Tyrese is an asshole.
Like Tyrese is an asshole. But like, you know, like the thing is like, that is if you're going to be famous, if you're going to gain fame, you're going to have some sort of idolization, and it's up to you on how you manage that, knowing that there will be. You can't tell people, well, it's not my job to raise your kids. Of course it's not. But the thing
hey, I like Glizzner's comment. He said they say they aren't role models, then they do commercials saying go out there and vote.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Or he'll like come over to Mixer because that's where I'm going. You know what I mean? Like, come on, clan.
Rihanna said
he was a marketing man for Mixer, but he doesn't have influence. Like, he doesn't want influence.
She said, hey mom, she said, I'm not a role model to your daughters. So if they're listening to my music, it's your job to teach them what I'm talking about. Yes, you're not. You know, you are a role model. You're making music, and these young girls hear it. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, all these people that these popular, and you're very marketable. Guess what? You have a responsibility. So when you do, that's why I'm like, okay, I don't mess with certain people because you're looking. Not Nicki Minaj. Cardi B doesn't even let her little daughter listen to her music.
Yes,
but you don't care if anybody else is. Eminem doesn't use profanity in his own house, but then it's like wait,
everybody lives their, that's it. That's their role. That's their public perception. But the thing is that they cannot just dismiss this. Now, I think one of the things that is true is that parents might leave their kids to just live and develop skills from these influences and not kind of coach them on what to listen and what to do. So that I agree. Like, I'm going to give you my example of my son. You know, he plays Fortnite and stuff and listen to the computer. I remember when he started playing Fortnite, he just started this year. He came down in tears and I'm like, what the hell happened? He goes, somebody called me, he called me trash. And I'm like, and he was crying in tears. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm like, and I didn't say, well, you call him trash. No, I didn't. I said, you know what? You have the power. You block them. You mute them. You don't have to hear it. And you basically do that. And you want to know what? You just dismiss yourself from that conversation. You don't go back at them and call them trash and now we're getting in a fight. No. And you know what else is interesting too is that I hear some of the, like, you know, they leave messages and stuff like that because I listen to it. And actually it's a benefit of having the PlayStation 5 and that speaker control because now you don't use the headset. So I hear all the conversations and he don't go into a room and just play. He plays in the full living room where all of us are there to hear what's going on. And we make sure he's playing with his friends. But also to what is that?
Ryan said, "I'm not a role model. I'm an influencer."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Get those yellow chairs out. All of a sudden, those cyberpunk chairs, I don't see them anymore.
I'll tell you, man,
Paris is not sitting them anymore. But like,
I think Ninja's right. Parents should. Parents should parent their kids. But on the flip side, when you don't take responsibility for the ability that you have and the privilege that you have a privilege. You don't have the right to do this. This is a privilege to you, and you are a popular streamer. It is your job to a certain extent to be responsible for what you do and say.
Yeah, you need to, because he like flipped out at some people in the chat. I think that's another thing where like
I don't know.
he was like,
I don't mess with that guy.
I don't watch him either. But you know what?
I don't watch him.
Guess what? You could buy his merch at Target. You could buy his skin in Fortnite. So don't tell me that you just want to dismiss yourself like, hey, parents, take care of your kids. But here, buy my shit at Target. You know, my ninja merch.
You have a responsibility.
Come on.
You know?
You got to.
Anybody that says they're not responsible, that's a crutch. You're using it as a crutch.
They're just trying to make it like that thing. And again, I do like, you know, I don't know the kind of like, you know, people come in this thing, they hate them and all that other stuff. When, you know, the animosity of the internet, we know, like you got to have a thick skin, you know, that's why for myself, I said on this channel and stuff like that, I don't go, oh shit, what people, Frog just laughs. I'm not even looking at the chat. What are they saying? Buy his skin. Buy his skin.
That's funny.
I did say that, but like the thing is like I don't go at people and stuff like that. No, I'm disappointed with the company, the corporation, but I'm not going to go at the fans of that corporation. You know, people say great, like everybody's a fan of something. And you know what? You're not going to change their mind. It's up to them to change if they don't like it enough. If they like it, then let them like it. But guess what? I don't like it. I'm going to tell you I don't like it. That's my opinion. That's Frog's opinion. If you don't like it, if I like it.
Exactly.
It is what it is. That's what it is. And you just, that's why, you know, I'm not going to say like, well, this person said last week and now he said this week. And I'm following this guy to make sure I keep him in check. It's like, oh, come on. I don't even have ain't nobody got time for that clip. But if I go to the corporation,
look,
that I don't like what they're doing.
These YouTubers, the Dr. Disrespects, the ninjas, most of these guys, I don't watch these guys.
I don't watch them. But no, I'm not telling you.
I'm not interested in them.
I'm not interested. Sorry, Frog.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not.
Well, you're older and your kids are older, but your kids are older too. I'm gonna tell you from my son,
like
he watches this shit.
Hilarious. You know who I think is hilarious, and I watch. And I think he's a funny dude, and I just watch him because Dashy's a funny dude. Other than that, I very rarely watch any of these guys. Dashy's like the only guy I watch because I think he's a funny dude. Just I'm playing Mario and freaking out. Other than that, I'm just like, I have no interest in you guys running around at Fortnite and trying to get my kids. Well, let me rephrase that. My older kids or younger kids, you're trying to influence them to use your mom's and dad's credit card to go buy your merch in the game. I have no interest in that stuff.
No, but they are putting YouTubers in Fortnite and stuff. But I'm gonna tell you, so my son does watch some YouTube and watches some streamers and stuff, and a lot of them show like the secrets. They show how to get the XP to unlock certain things and tips, and he gets the news, and he comes down there and shares more gaming news with me. Hey, Dad, they're putting this guy in there. They're putting this guy in there. And this, and I'm like, oh wow. He goes, today's upside down day. Everything's upside down. Like he uses them as his news flow.
You know what, Jez? It's because they have such a large following because it's such a big game.
Well, he's watches Fortnite stuff. But again, he watches some streamers. Now there are kind of PG streamers where they don't curse and stuff. And then, but if he clicks on somebody and they say something, I'm like, and he knows the curses. I'm like, turn it off. You're not listening to them.
You see, but that's
like,
parenting, and I respect that. You know, but you have some parents who like they let their kids do whatever. And then when they
no,
dropping bombs on them. You're like, whoa, where'd you learn that word?
And also too, what I say, and this is one thing I say to him. This is just what I say to him. I'm like, I know you like the games. I know you like to play video games, and I know like this online thing. It's a constant carousel of people. You know, like Frog. I know, like I'm about to get off, like I'm about to turn it off, and then you come online, then your friends come online, and then hey, they jump off in a new set of friends, and you're just like. But I told him like it's only a game. You could love it,
right?
You could get it, but at the end of the day, it's just a game. You still like that. That is like that is entertainment, but do not get consumed by it where it takes over. Like you're addicted and that you don't eat and you don't go outside and stuff because it's only a game and that's it. Like you don't get too serious about it. Like these people, I don't like. I don't like this very kind of like if it gets you really depressed, because gaming can be depressing,
Yes.
especially if people are egging you on, like they're like cyberbullying you along with like you not enjoying the game. Like it's a game, you could walk away from it, but it's only a game. Now let me go downstairs and go yell about bullshit Game Pass.
Right.
Let your dad take care of that on YouTube. What grinds my gears now?
Yep.
Hypocrites. But anyway, the next topic, Frog. Go Ninja, go. He's at Mixer. I don't know where he is now. He went back to Twitch. He went crawling back.
I don't know what's
But
going
now
with that guy.
we're gonna go to the grinds table, and we know what it's all about. Oh shit! I need more water. But I'm gonna go grab some more water.
I sat back and I grabbed me a nice cold one.
Oh shit! So Frog's gonna go in because you guys heard what I had to say about this Xbox Live Series 180. Phil Ness doing the moonwalk.
Oh my gosh!
He was doing the moonwalk on Friday. Aaron Greenberg doing the moonwalk. Everybody's dancing. Reverse. The electric slide. Reverse. But yes, grinders, hit that like button. We are going to go to the grinds table with one of the biggest topics, the biggest fiascos of Friday, the friggin' entertainment only a gamer could enjoy. And we are going to go to the grinds table. Here we go with the Xbox 180 price reversal. Here we go. Here we are. Take a deep breath. We are
Hold
at.
Hold on. Do you hear this? Wait. Do you hear?
There it is. Oh man, I need a
cold
friggin'
one.
drink on Friday, man. Oh my god. So, in case you haven't heard,
Got a nice cold one.
Oh damn. Let me just
Man.
tweet this out. We are at the grinds table. Hold on, guys. Tweet this out.
My god.
With the Xbox 180. Yeah. So, early in the morning.
Somebody said Aaron Greenberg was doing the worm at the Xbox headquarters at midnight on Friday. Got up to some Phil Ness.
Oh man, the Phil Ness was going. So at 6 a.m., you wake up, you like stretch your arms. There's little birds tweeting outside. It's a cold, blistery morning. You get your cup of coffee. You come downstairs, you put a little bit of cream, a little bit of sugar, take a sip of your cup of coffee, come down. Look at the Twitters. It's a work day. Oh, shit, I got to check email. All right, let me check email. All right. Then you look down at your phone, and you see something just coming out of it. You're like, what the hell? The hell's going on my phone? There's something
breaking news
oozing out of my screen. I'm like, what the hell? My hand gets all sticky. It starts to smell. It starts to stink. And I find out it's Phil Ness coming through my phone. Holy shit, Frogs. I see Xbox Live is going to be $120 a year, but they're not being that clear about it. They're Phil Nessing it, and they're saying 6 months for only $60. We haven't increased the price in 10 years. And oh my goodness. Here's the article and now the edit. Frog, what did you think? I'm going to go grab a drink of water. Frog, what did you think when you saw the Phil Ness oozing out of Xbox Wire? And this wasn't a rumor either. This was Xbox Wire.
This is real. I can say this. If Phil no longer has the glory hole, he found a way to get the ooze come out your phone. Screw the glory hole. He's giving you the ooze. I when I saw this, my first thought was I immediately thought when they said the Xbox Live is going to be double You know, not 59, but 60, $120 a year. I was like, yep, I'm not getting the Xbox Series X. I was like, there's no way. Number one, I have Game Pass right now. And I'm
Yes, you're
trying
testing
games on
both
there,
of them
but
out, right?
yeah, and I'm testing both of them out, PlayStation now and Game Pass. And what I'll say is, oh no, that's a whole nother conversation. But what I'll say is this: I couldn't see myself paying $120 a year for Xbox Live. Number one. Number two, I felt like the first thing I said is if they're charging $120, they're looking at you going to Game Pass Ultimate because it's the better option. And I
Yes.
said, this makes no sense. I said, because I
And a
don't
lot of
want to be in
articles
that.
stated that. And I think a lot of articles call
And
that
I
out.
was
Like
I
it's a
don't want
it's
to
a
be. The
strong
only reason
arm.
I'm trying Game Pass is because I'm doing a test. I want to try it out for a year and really see if there's anything. And I don't think I'm going to get my value out of Game Pass within a year. And the reason is because there's nothing coming out within a year that I'm going to play probably. Most of the games I play in there are either, I would say there's like a very few that are really good, but a lot of them are very, very mediocre. And it's exclusive wise, it's very mediocre games, but there's some great ones in there. And I do find some hidden gems every once in a blue moon in there, but in their multi-plat, and I usually go buy them on my PlayStation 5. Like, if they're a game like there's a game in there called The Tourist. I really love that game. I think that game is awesome. And I purchased it. I was like, I don't want a Game Pass. This is a game I can see myself playing.
But Frog,
it's
the thing
fun,
is
but
like this $10 a month.
I am so disappointed in how this news came out.
Oh,
and what is
6
even more, I'm
a.m.
gonna tell you
6 a.m. on a
more,
Friday.
Here's what's even more disappointing. What disappointed me more was when I looked at the Twitterverse and people were pissed about this when they reversed it and people were giving them praise for it. That really, really freaking it tweaked my melon. I was like, how are you giving them praise for something? That's like, it's like, hey, you took a dump on the floor, it's supposed to go on the toilet, and then you come and clean it up, and you expect me to be, thank you for cleaning that dookie up off the floor. No, you were supposed to go on the toilet in the first place. Why did you dookie on the floor? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna praise you because you cleaned the dookie up off the floor that you just
Get your mother, please.
And made it smell like bleach and pine soil. No, I'm gonna still be pissed because you should have went in the toilet in the first place.
Who are you?
I'm about to praise you for cleaning dookie up that was supposed to go in the toilet. So I kind of look at it like, what's wrong with people saying, oh, you got to give them props to the reversal? No, you don't. They knew what they were doing. They were testing to see what was going to happen. They knew. They said, let's test the market. Let's see where we're at. And if nobody said anything and people were like, this is a good deal, they would have left it at B. When they got so much of it, people were
sounds a lot like Halo Infinite reveal too.
Look, let me tell you, man, people were pissed.
This is my throat was pissed.
I think, I was pissed. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the fanboy stuff, and this is my honest opinion. The fanboy stuff needs to really stop. People need to see wrong for wrong. This was wrong. They knew they were wrong, and then they backtracked.
But look at the whole thing. Like
Xbox gaming division have been doing this for the last generation, and now they're doing it for this generation. Xbox, that whole division is so bad. Like, that whole gaming division is such a bad division.
Their messaging, I've never seen.
They have bad messaging. They have horrible marketing. I don't understand how anybody can still be such a fan. I can understand you loving the product, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But if you look at the moves they're making, how can you love what they're doing for you as a gamer, and they constantly have to backtrack because they put their foot in their mouth? Yeah. I don't get how people can constantly fight for a company like this. And, if this is more Microsoft, look at the top of the page, it's more Microsoft than Xbox. Like, it just pisses me off that people will sit here, and you know who you are, and you will fanboy on. And, I heard somebody on a podcast the other day say, oh, this game is kind of like exclusive to Xbox. They just love to be exclusive to Xbox just for bragging rights. That's a bullshit thing, because there are games that are on PlayStation that I wish were on, Xbox, because they're so good games. I'm like, everybody needs to experience this, right? I don't look and be like, but I don't for one instance think that they're not competing.
Yeah.
PlayStation is competing with Xbox. Switch is competing with Xbox and PlayStation. Let's get that clear. When Microsoft says we're not competing, they're a damn lie. They know they're competing.
Well, actually, if they went ahead with this, they would not be competing with PlayStation because they made themselves. No. They competed themselves out. They kind of priced themselves out of online.
But my whole thing is like, and you said it so best, Jazz. If Phil Spencer was to leave this Xbox game division, it'd be done. Because that right man, Phil Spencer is basically like their poor boy's Miyamoto. Like, that's really what he is. He doesn't make games. It's just the fact that he's the face for that game division, and that's what people know. I don't think there's another. There's not another face you can put up there, and people are gonna know. Because, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, the new guy, Jim Ryan, the new guy for PlayStation,
Gordon Ramsay.
He's forgettable. Like, I don't.
He is forgettable. I care less what he is. He's Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, my Gordon Ramsay clip.
But when they get up on stage and he brings out, if you notice, he doesn't speak much because he doesn't.
Yeah, you want me to blow? Fuck it. Yeah, you want me to blow? Fuck it.
That's his job. You fuck off.
When they show games, that's when I freaking get excited. I don't understand how anybody can sit there and
Philomoto
be like, man, look, they can sit there and they be like,
Bob's got news for you.
Great decision that he reversed it. They should have never did this in the first place. They're doing this because their intention, and we keep saying it, is
I don't like the intention.
They want Game Pass to be the all-inclusive thing. They want everything to be in there. They don't want you to pay for a subscription every year at $59. Even though they're making money, they want you to be in their ecosystem.
That goes into the reversal.
But they're not delivering the product to you. It's like you're paying for a service like ADT alarm system, and then you're like, yeah, well, you get everything, but you know, the sensors in the windows, you don't get, they're wireless and they're on there, but they're not turned on yet because we got 2 years. We got to work the kinks out.
Yeah.
Would you buy an alarm system that gave you the wireless sensors to put on your window so somebody opened it, you knew, but they told you, oh, they were 2 years in the works?
No.
I just don't get how
it was a bad move either way, like what they were trying to do.
It's a bad move, but I can't stand, like, I'm so over the fanboy stuff. I'm so over Xbox is better, PlayStation is better. Look, we know who's better than better, right? But my thing is, when Sony does something bad on PlayStation, when Nintendo does something bad, speak on it. When Cyberpunk came out and has problems, speak on it. Why don't people who love Xbox speak on what Xbox is doing wrong? And don't praise them.
But what's interesting, Frog, is that when Cyberpunk came out and PlayStation removed it from the stores, I believe a lot of the Xbox folk were like making fun, like, "Oh, but at least we get to keep eye." I'm like, but Sony did the right thing by removing it from the store.
Look, anybody that does that whole Xbox is Xbox is,
I have a choice to buy the Cyberpunk. It's broke. Like, why would Microsoft put a bunch of disclaimer bullshit in there, but they wouldn't remove it?
You know why, Jed?
But Sony did the right thing, but they're like, oh, but Sony's doing the wrong thing by removing it. You can't buy it now. It's like, what? Why's that bad?
Because they want
the W.
Game Pass.
Microsoft wants the fans of Microsoft want the W. They want the thing that that's why any kind of, and that's why the thing is like, I'm here to tell you, no matter what Microsoft does right now, all the things they've been stacking up is never going to get that W that we want to smack across Sony's face and be like, Microsoft's back in business, bitch. Here's my green smack across your face.
And you know what,
it's not going to happen for all the things that have been going on, for the cross-play, the putting games on PC, for all these indie studios, for Game Pass. All this stuff is building up to a mediocre future that is on everything. It's basically taking a handful of shit and spreading it all over the place and seeing what sticks. Because that is what Microsoft is doing. They're throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks.
I want so bad for Xbox to come out with some games that really kick Sony in the butt and said, "Hey, we got this big new IP.
Let's go."
You don't have, and it's resonating with.
It's not the medium. It's not even Halo. Look at Halo.
No,
look what they did to it.
I want these games to come.
Free to play Halo. What the hell is that going to look like? Craig, chest hair.
And buy a Series X and play a game on it and be like, yes, this game is awesome. It's keeping me entertained. it's been hard to do that last generation. It's hard to do. Look, I'm gonna tell you. You know, we joke around, but you know, PlayStation 5 is Turbo Man, and Xbox Series X is definitely a booster.
Booster.
You know, it's definitely a booster. And will I buy a booster eventually? But guess what? When they said they were gonna double the price of Xbox Live, and that was the only way you're gonna do it, I was like,
You're too late.
Booster. I don't care what games you have.
Put that cookie down
because
now.
Here's the thing. Look at the value of Xbox Live, what they put in there. It's trash.
Well, and that was the thing is that they were doubling the price of Xbox Live without offering any kind of commodity or anything to say what are you adding value to. Like, if they were like, hey, we're adding EA Game Pass or we're adding Ubisoft games to Xbox Live Gold day one or something like that, like now we're doubling the price, or we're adding 10 games to games with Gold.
If Sony said, hey, we're adding another tier to PlayStation Plus, right? And they said, with PlayStation Plus now, with the PlayStation Plus, we're going to add another tier. It's a $99 tier a year.
Yeah.
And with that $99 tier, you get PS Now, you get PlayStation Plus, and you get PlayStation Collection. That's a deal because
exactly. Like that PlayStation Collection is a great move that you know, they could have increased the price and going like, hey, here's 20 games from this generation that you're getting.
I'm sorry if I got loud. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're see?
I'm so pissed, man. Like it pissed me off to hear people in our community that we know give them props for the reverse.
Well, that was the second part of the story, was that at midnight, Angry Bird doing his flips. Actually, here it is, and it basically goes like this: the apology. You know, I already did this on my show. How many times are you gonna say you're sorry after slapping me in the face? You said you're sorry with Halo Infinite. Sorry about Craig. Sorry we're delaying it. Sorry it doesn't meet up to the standards of Halo. They said they're sorry about gameplay, that they didn't show gameplay when they promised gameplay. They were sorry about what else was he sorry about? They were sorry about this, you know, we're sorry about Xbox Live, and, you know, we missed the mark here. Yeah, we messed up today. You know, and you were right to let us know.
They do this all the time.
And they were sorry with the DRM. We hear you and all the stuff. This is a learning opportunity. Like, I don't understand. And you know, people give them credit for saying they're sorry, but you want to know what I realized, and, you know, sitting over the weekend thinking about this stuff, you know, while I was playing, I was like, the thing is like, you know, they're the only ones that really, like, Sony came out and said they're sorry. They're sorry because they messed up the PS5 pre-orders. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, that's a sorry. But the thing is like, that's for an item that's in high demand and stuff like that. Microsoft has been saying sorry, the DRM, this, because of setting false expectations up and bad marketing and bad messaging. What did they always say? We said
somebody said I wasn't loud. They said the soundboard got loud.
Oh yeah, I hit the sorry. Yeah, I hit the Arnold soundboard. But the thing is that because you're a Turbo Man, I had to jump and do the Turbo Man stuff. But the thing is like, my thing is, so this is the stuff. This is when we get to my statement here. They messed up today. Connecting and playing with is a vital part of gaming. Blah 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 blah. If you're already a member, don't worry about it. But this is the interesting part. In the U.S., $10 for a month, $25 for 3 months. That's been there. $40 for 6 months, $60 for 12 months. Now, I don't recall them ever having a 6-month Xbox Live Gold. I don't recall it being there.
I don't remember that either.
They had a 1 month, a 3 month, and a 12 month. So
I think that's something new.
It is new. So $59.99 for retail. Let me explain something. In August of last year, they removed the $59.99 for 12 months from their store. That's where people like Jeff Grubb ran around going, they're getting rid of Xbox Live. Because if you think about it, Xbox Live technically
that was the thing that a lot of Xbox fanatics
that was the rumor. This was Xbox Live in the morning, Xbox Live. But the thing is that Xbox Live really is a vestigial organ of what's going on, because Game Pass is where it is. The problem that Microsoft has is that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, they still want, the problem is that Microsoft can't cut off Gold because they still want that money. And the thing is that they're just trying to bundle that money into Game Pass Ultimate, because you still could buy Xbox Game Pass, but Xbox Game Pass doesn't include online. So a lot of the games in Game Pass, like Sea of Thieves, like State of Decay 2, you can't play them online. So if you just pay $10 without gold and just pay for Game Pass, you're missing out on a lot of the features and a lot of the games. Some games you can't even play because they're online only. Things like that. So they have this Game Pass Ultimate where they kind of throw in the $5 a month. That's $60 that you used to pay for Live. They rolled it into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and they added xCloud to it. The thing is that what they're trying to do with this move, and I totally agree, and I went on tirades on Friday, and you can listen to those on both of them, is that I didn't like the intent. I think Microsoft is showing their sleaziness, and I don't understand how they could just think that this was going to fly with anybody, and I don't understand how you don't offset this with some sort of messaging, some sort of added benefit. The problem is that with Xbox Live, they really have not evolved the service. They actually devolved the service. Since Game Pass has come out, Xbox Live Games with Gold, the only kind of thing that has added value, because remember, they used to put Netflix and all the media apps behind Xbox Live to add perceived value to it. They removed all that with the Xbox One. They removed that, and now Xbox Live really was just games with gold and online. There really wasn't, and the deals with gold. You would get deals with gold. So like you get some discounts, you get online, and you get a couple of games a month. Well, since Game Pass came out and giving you games, Xbox Live Gold offering has been horrible. So really, it just kind of devolved into 10% off of some discounts and online, where the games with gold really were not anything AAA or anything notable that really were adding any value, and all those kind of games went to Game Pass. So Xbox Live really was being devalued. For them to think that, oh, well, we'll just double the price now, I think they misjudged on two things. One, I think they completely missed the mark. Like they said, we messed up in the fact that people are not going to realize that Game Pass, that Xbox Live is going to be double in price, and people are just going to be like, oh, that's okay, Game Pass is where it's at. I think that was the problem. They assumed that Game Pass had more clout than it does. And I think one of the things that stood out the most was how much people still care about Xbox Live. And I don't think that people are not like games. And if you look at the top list, GTA, Call of Duty, NBA 2K19, 2K20, 21, like all those, the sports games, the Maddens, the hockeys, the FIFAs, the Call of Duties, the GTAs, the Destinies, all these games, multiplayer games, and even you want to say Gears and all that other stuff, but games that are not in Game Pass all require Xbox Live. Fortnite, the free-to-play, which they took away, so they're going to be losing money in that instance. But the free-to-play games also. The thing is I think they thought that they could have did the switch now and still think that they could still have that Game Pass clout, that people will just be like, oh, that makes Game Pass a better deal, I go to Game Pass. But I think that they got a false read. I think they listened to too many influencers promoting Game Pass, and I think Game Pass of all times was at its lowest right now. I think Game Pass really didn't have any kind of compelling content to increase its subscribers to make it a value right now. Game Pass is kind of at a lull because there's Medium is going to be like one of the first games in there. So I do think that they misread that. They thought that Game Pass was like the industry darling. And it's funny, it's similar to how Cyberpunk thought that because they were Witcher, they made The Witcher, that they were the industry darling and they could get away with Cyberpunk. Similarly, I think Microsoft thought that Game Pass was the industry darling, and they thought that, hey, if we just increase gold, like everybody loves Game Pass, they'll just go to Game Pass. Gold, we'll just outprice it. But what happened was on Friday was that everybody read between the lines, and they called them out for strong-arming people to Game Pass with this thing. Now, the point is I wanted to make about the $59.99 is that was been removed for just since August. Now the fact that comes back, Frog, what do you think is the implications now that Live is going to be at same price, and now Game Pass is just going to have to live on its own without the strong-arming of Microsoft overpricing other services to get people to go to Game Pass? What do you think the repercussions are of this?
I think if I was a betting man, I think the price of Game Pass is going to go up. sooner
to
than later.
compensate.
To compensate. I think it has to. Here's one thing I will say. I'm glad that this didn't happen, because if this happened, it would make you would get companies like Sony with the PlayStation and Nintendo to say, "Hey, we can increase our services because they did it," which I'm happy it did not go through, because we don't need something like this in the market. Number one, we shouldn't have to pay to play online. I think you
Yeah.
should pay because you're in a special club and you get bonuses and perks like, hey, you're paying to get these free. You're paying to get these games free a month, and by you paying this monthly, it'd have been different if they were like, hey, and here's the thing. This would have been totally different if they're like, we're increasing Xbox Live to $120 a year, and they wouldn't have did this because we got to understand their motto is Game Pass, and by increasing this, the incentive to increasing this is we're giving you more games in Xbox Live, and anything you buy digital will be 10 to 15% off. That would have been a perk, because then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm paying 120, but if I'm to a mostly digital future, I'm going to make my money back. That would have maybe worked. I don't understand how, because like to me, I think that's the next thing Sony needs to do. Sony and Microsoft needs to both. Sony needs to figure out a couple of things. They need to figure out how I can gift a game and give it to a friend. Microsoft can do it on the Xbox, which I think is dope. They also need to figure out a buyback system for digital games, which I think they're figuring it out. And I think they also need to figure out, like, and I know why they don't discount games, like, oh, if you're a PlayStation, I think if you're a PlayStation Plus member or if you're an Xbox Live member, the incentive should be, hey, if you buy digital, you get 10% off any digital games you buy. And I know the reason they don't do that is because they're like, oh, well, the stores will have a harder time selling their games because we're giving. No, they still sell your games. They're still going to put them in stores, but you're giving somebody incentive to, if you're telling people, hey, you can play all your games from now on online for free, but the incentive to subscribing to our membership is you get 10 to 15% off any digital games you buy, and you'll be the first to get these demos. Instead of saying pre-order this game for this demo, don't do that anymore. Just say, hey, all demos coming for any future game. As long as you subscribe to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live, you get it.
Well,
And
Buck
I
says that Game Pass gives you a discount for buying games. I think when they come out of Game Pass, or they're 10% if you want to buy them.
When they come out of Game Pass, they do. They're 10% off. But my whole point is, like, who wants the games in Game Pass to buy? They're old as crap. We own most of that stuff in there. I kind of do wish that PlayStation would do something similar to, like, not a Game Pass, but something similar, saying, hey, if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, and any game that we previously put in Plus will be 10% off if you didn't buy it. You know what I'm saying? So instead of you having, it's kind of like a
Bugrod said, although isn't that like paying for your discount? Like that, of course. Like
it's like a discount, but over time, it's like anything. Over time, you're getting your money back. So if you're spending, let's just say Sony has another tier. Let's just say for all intents and purposes, Sony says we have another tier of PlayStation Plus, and it's our PS Plus and Now subscription. It's $99 a year. With this plan, you get PS Now, you get PS Plus, PlayStation Plus collection, and also any digital content you buy in our store, you get 10 to 15% off. Yeah, it's $99 a year, but that 10 to 15% off that you're saving, especially because games are $69, you're going to save $7 off that game.
Yeah,
so,
but see, the thing is, so what I was trying to think was, like, they did this as a way to kind of, and people called them out on this, and I think that I agree. A lot of the fans and a lot of just the gaming industry, had their YouTubers, but again, just like I think with the Halo and Craig meme, I think this got too big too fast on Friday. It was in Bloomberg. It was on CNET. Like this thing. Yo, what's up, CTR? This got big, and people were pissed, and it was negative PR, and it got to the top real quick. It wasn't just YouTubers and stuff like that or tweets. This got big
these
bad.
Are fans of the console,
but it wasn't even fans of the console. I think the biggest thing was the fact that it got up there as a negative move by Microsoft, that they're doubling Xbox Live, and they had a backtrack on it. And in addition to that, they brought back the 1 year for the $59.99, which makes people now stay with Xbox Live. Now they're going to have to restructure and do it because they want you on Game Pass. Tomorrow, I think, are the financials. They're going to announce the financials tomorrow. They're probably going to say maybe $30 million in Game Pass or whatever like that. But I guarantee you, if you really break down the numbers, the people that are in Game Pass are really just Xbox Live people who did that conversion to Game Pass. They're not growing Game Pass at the rate that Satya wants. And this move on Friday is proof that things are not green over there. There is some issues going on with the growth of Game Pass. You might hear 20 million and go, wow, they went from 15 to 20. Oh, they're at 30 now. That's great. You want to know what? That sounds good on paper, but yeah, their internal metrics might they might say, hey, at the end of 2020, with the growth of the pandemic, we should be at 50 million subscribers. And it feels like we're at 35. What? You missed it? Or we're at 45. You said.
I have a quick question. Real quick question.
Yeah.
This is totally up the subject because I just saw it. PlayStation on PlayStation Store, they got Ghost Recon Breakpoint for $8.99. Is it that bad, or is it worth $8.99?
Yeah, supposedly they added some features to it. Like, it's still this kind of loot shooter, and they basically took it out, but they made it like a loot thing, like this, made by the Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah, I know. I was tempted to buy it, but I was like, ugh, I don't think so.
You know, maybe I'll buy it just to have another.
That's what I thought. Well, maybe if you buy it, I'll give $8.99 just to run around and shoot things.
Get it. Yeah, just to run around and shoot. But I'm like, damn, like, I wasn't gonna buy it, but $8.99.
I know. This is funny. I was looking at the same thing yesterday.
This is how our collection goes, and we're like, damn, we got a backlog. Because like, I wasn't gonna buy it for no $15, but $8.99. I'm like,
that's the price of a friggin' sandwich,
dude. That's a bargain bin.
It is.
That's a bargain bin game. I'm like,
it's $20 for the for the season pass thing, I guess. For the whole thing. I don't know.
Hey, the $8.99 version sounds good to me. I'm just gonna buy it just to buy it. You know, because look, I didn't have any intention of buying it, but the fact that it's $8.99. See, this is what I'm talking about. That's a Game Pass game. That's a Game Pass game.
But it's not in Game Pass though.
But it's not a game. But see, a game like that, I actually would try. But guess what? Those games like that, these Ubisoft games, aren't going in there. I don't know why. I called it when Game Pass came out. I said the success of Game Pass will depend on the third-party content they can get in there and keep in there. And yes, Kid Smooth, they got Red Dead and they got a couple other things, but they didn't stay in there long.
Final Fantasy 15 is leaving at the end of this month.
Yeah, and then on PlayStation we got the whole freaking Wario collection with PlayStation Plus. If you got a PS5, no, my whole thing is this. I don't think Game Pass is a bad idea for Xbox, but number two, I don't think Game Pass is for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's what they found out on Friday.
I don't think a Game Pass
people didn't care about it.
A Game Pass solution would not work on PlayStation or Nintendo because their games sell. That's the difference between Microsoft's Xbox games. Their first-party games don't sell. And some of their third-party games don't sell as well as their competition. So I understand the purpose of Game Pass for Xbox. Like, you know, like you ever watch that Key and Peele episode where they're supposed to be like initiating the new guy in the gang and say, oh, he's local, you know, he's busting a bottle over his head, and then, you know, not Key Peele, Jordan Peele comes up and he starts saying, I'm the local one in this gang, and he starts like trying to do stuff, and then he's like, I'm in too deep. I'm like, that's Microsoft. They're in so deep right now. They can't.
Well, one thing I wanted to point out here, like speaking of shutting down stuff, is that I brought this up in my other show about Mixer, right? And one of the things I alluded to was we're talking about why they would do this and why they would push this through. And it's a strong arm tactic to get people to go to Xbox Game Pass, right? Game Pass Ultimate. Because you gotta remember now, Game Pass Ultimate is on Xbox, it is on PC, and is on Android phones. And so it's on billions of devices. It's on billions of devices, Game Pass. And now, just like I said before, It's going to be the content. Just because you're on a billion devices with a trillion PCs and billions of phones, millions of phones all over the world, and on consoles, it's still, and this is and now they're going to put it on TVs with xCloud, on Samsung TVs in everybody's house. The problem is nobody's going to sign up unless there's content. So right now, I am sure Satya is looking at it going, Phil, you're on all the PCs that we got out there, which is almost a billion right now. A billion Windows 10 devices.
Moving numbers.
You're on 50 so million. We just launched 2 consoles over the holidays. You're on all the Android phones right now. You know, you see that in the announcements of Game Pass. They got games just going to Android. You're on all these devices, Phil. If we have 1 billion people that have access to our Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $15, why are we only growing by 10 million people? We got it on 1 billion devices right now. We're reaching those 2 billion that you spoke about. Why are we, if we're on 2 billion devices, why are we only increasing by 5 million? So, like, to you sitting there going, like, well, they went from 10 to 20 to 30 million. But look at this. They shut down Mixer. And this is from Phil Ness himself. I don't have any regrets. It's obviously a disappointment when you try to grow something to the scale it needs to be to get to, and you don't get there. You make decisions with the best information you have at the time, and you apply your best effort. They shut down Mixer.
That's why.
Well, I'm saying they shut down Mixer because it didn't hit the scale that it needed to do. So when it wasn't hitting the scale that it needed to do, remember in that July, they laid off a lot of Mixer staff from original content. They tried to do the hype zone. They were trying to do original content, having people create stuff. They got rid of all of them. Then what did they do to try to get it to scale faster in October and August? They bought Ninja and Shroud, the top streamers from their competing platforms, and they spent tens of millions. So over the years, Microsoft reportedly spent tens of millions of dollars to get big names to jump ship. These were long-term deals, as Mixer was clearly a focus for the company moving forward. As many others mocked the platform's lower viewership, streamers on Mixer defended the site to the end. It was a great service, but it didn't. And people streaming on there. People dropped Twitch and went there. They paid people to do it. They had people go over. But it didn't hit the scale that it needed to do by the time it did, and they shut it down. And that's what I'm trying to say. When you look at Game Pass, and you look at this stuff, and you go, wait, they're buying all these studios. They bought Bethesda. Now they're trying to increase other services to get you to go over to that thing. I haven't seen the dollar bill fill with dollar bill Game Pass. The thing is that they're trying to do increased growth, but the problem is they're not doing it naturally.
Right.
It's not natural growth. They're artificially trying to jumpstart the thing. Like if you had a car, right? And your battery was dead, and you jump-started it, you only could get so far before you're going to have to jump-start it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Either jump-start it again or buy a new battery. Right?
Exactly, Frog. And would you buy a car, and that will be, hey, you could buy this car, but guess what? You're going to have to jump-start it every time you want to do something with it. That don't sound like a car that you want to drive to Florida with in a 24-hour drive. This is what I'm talking about with Game Pass. If Game Pass is not growing at the rate that they're doing, and they constantly have to do these kind of jump starts, buy a studio, buy this, and they're not seeing the growth that they will pivot again. And who knows? They might shut it all down. I think the first thing to go is that they merge a lot of these studios together. I think that they take Compulsion and merge Compulsion with Ninja Theory. Like, they're not going to sit out there with 23 studios for the next 10 years. I think that's going to be the first repercussion of lack of Game Pass growth will be to start shuttering studios or merging.
If anybody has watched the history of the company of Microsoft,
that's them. That's what they do.
They are quick to shut down something. They will shut something down.
And they're quick to pivot. Frog, when they launched the system, they were never on Steam. It was all about Windows 10 and Windows 10 Store. What happened? Nobody wanted the Windows 10 store. So what did they do? They put their games on Steam. Like,
Yep.
And what did they do? They
That's
put their
right.
games on Xbox exclusives. Nobody was buying them there, so what did they do? Put them on Windows. The thing is that they're constantly looking to grow as fast as possible, because the problem I have is that's why it's all PR talk. And you know, maybe it's not Phil Ness, but I think Satya don't give a shit about
He doesn't care.
gaming. All he
Nope.
cares about is the cloud and growth. He is
cares
not
about that bottom line.
he is
of
not
quality,
like a
like you said,
Steve
yeah.
Ballmer that somebody came over and said we're better than you, and Ballmer said I want to beat them. Satya is
Yes.
not like that. Somebody comes over
Nope.
and they say they're better than you, and Satya is like, "Oh, do you want to partner with us?" That's how Satya is. Steve Ballmer, if Sony came over and said we're gonna beat you in the house, Steve Ballmer's like, make something right now. We're beating Sony. He was a competitor. He was a crazy nutcase, but he did not want to be beat on all fronts. The thing is,
and that's why I love the competition, because
he was
it made
competitive.
the gaming industry. It made the gaming industry thrive. It made you create new standards for games, and developers will go out there and say, let's try new things, and everything might not be a success, but you know, look at the Souls guys. They created a whole new genre type of game. Now we go refer to things, anything that plays like that is a Souls game.
That's right. That's what what's his name said. Steve Jobs on Microsoft, where he said, what did he say? He said about that they're not innovative. That on Microsoft, what did he say? He says that they're not innovative. Like they're not. Yeah, here it is, right here.
Yeah, this
here,
blows
what he
my
said.
mind.
Is they just have no taste.
He says they have no.
They have absolutely no taste, and what that means is, I don't mean that in a small way. I mean that in a big way, in the sense that.
And they should be more talented.
Yeah, listen to it. That's what he's saying.
They don't think of original ideas, and they don't bring much culture into their product. And you say, well, why is that important? Well, you know, proportionally spaced fonts come from typesetting and beautiful books. That's where one gets the idea. If it weren't for the Mac, they would never have that in their products. And so I guess I am saddened, not by Microsoft's success. I have no problem with their success. They've earned their success, for the most part. I have a problem with the fact that they just make really third-rate products.
Damn, they make third grade products. But yeah, and you see, like the thing is that they're they tried to finesse everything, and they just don't think of original ideas. That's why that Xbox was so awesome, because it was an original idea. It was something that they didn't steal stuff from Sony, but they tried a console and was successful. Now Microsoft is trying to. They're trying to just make money out of this thing. Like, it's just like, hey, we got a bunch of dedicated people out there. We got a bunch of dedicated fans. Let's squeeze the lemon. Let's see how much we can get out of them. Problem is that you're squeezing the wrong people. Like, these people were loyal to you, and you're gonna start losing people. And I saw that's another thing. I think their move on Friday was a bad PR move, because I think it showed their true colors, and I think that some people realize that this is just in the wings. Microsoft's ready to jack up prices of these services. You know, the dollar bill Phil and Goodwill Gaming is really, you know, it might be short-lived. And the fact is that, you know, do you want to commit all your gaming to a $15 a month service that you get acclimated to, you stop buying games, and you just subscribe to this service, and then they got you by the balls, and they could just increase it whenever they want, because they know that you are now enabled by them for their Game Pass. And the problem is that they will structure, and this is my problem with Game Pass. The problem that my problem with Game Pass is that they are going to structure their games accordingly to the service that it's launching in. They have put everything into this subscription based. So a game like Halo is now an open world game with side missions probably. And the Halo multiplayer is free to play. Oh, and is Fable going to be episodic? Is Avowed going to be an 8-hour adventure? Like, we don't know what the structure of these games is going to be. The Medium is an 8-hour game, walk through a bunch of holds, AA, enjoy. Perfect for Game Pass. Do we see a Ghost of Tsushima in Game Pass? Do you see a Last of Us 2? Do you see a Zelda? Do you see even what Halo used to be going in Game Pass day one? No, they've changed Halo. I wouldn't be surprised if the next Gears that you see is going to be just like Hivebusters, 3-hour increments. Here's the next Gears episodic content. And they're going to do this. The second thing what this thing was going to do was that this thing was going to enable you to not do the peekaboo gaming that I talk about, where, hey, they got Medium this week, I'll jump on for $15 or $10, I'll play the game, and then I'll cancel it. They don't want that because they want sustained growth.
They definitely don't want that.
Yes. So by making Xbox Live, overpricing it, what they're allowed to do then is now have you enabled to use Game Pass as your Xbox Live subscription. So you will not jump off of Game Pass because you need that online to play. Xbox Live becomes the crutch. It becomes the X factor, per se. Because now, if you just jump on to say, oh, Game Pass sucks this month, I'm not paying. Oh, Game Pass has a good game this month, I'm jumping in, I'm not paying. I'll pay, I'm not paying. Oh, when's Halo come out? October? I'll pay for Game Pass in October. They don't want that. They need sustained growth, and they're probably seeing ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs, and they're not seeing sustainability. They saw that with Xbox Live because people got Xbox Live and stayed with it because it was an online service, and it was the online that was dragging people. The problem is Game Pass, in order for them to sustain that content, they need to just, they need to be dumping games every goddamn month, and I don't, I don't know if they're going to get there probably, but that's why they're stacking the deck, and they're going to probably buy some more studios. But the thing is that by looping Xbox Live, that's why they won't drop Xbox Live requirement, because they need Xbox Live to ensure sustainability in their subscribers. Because if you just jump on and jump off the bus whenever they had some games, peekaboo gaming, that's not good to them because they want sustained subscriptions. And
exactly,
they need, that's why if you had Xbox Live there, and especially on console, because they're probably seeing this shit on PC like all the time. I jump on, jump off. But the fact on console, if they say you got Xbox Live with Game Pass, then what they should do is then if it's like, hey, I don't like this game, I'm not paying. Well, guess what? You just lost your online too. Uh-oh. That's why they can't get rid of Xbox Live, because they need it for you to be in Game Pass. And this was a perfect example of it on Friday. They wanted you to not just buy Xbox Live by itself. And I said this on my podcast. It is like the triple play, double play cable bundles. If you get it all bundled, it's cheaper per month. But if you don't bundle it, you're going to pay more money out of pocket.
Yep.
And that's what they're trying to do. Well, if you want to buy Gears Hivebusters, it's $20. And if you want to play it online, it is going to be $120 for the year. Oh my God. Like, wow. Whoa, wait a second. But if you just pay us $15, you could get everything. And the thing is what grinds my gears so much, Frog, is like they're basically shooting blanks. They're shopping. They think that they have the gall and the balls to charge these prices, to sell this product without substantial content. Like, I don't understand how they think. You're not in first place. You are almost irrelevant when it comes to gaming. You have no, like, in the Game Awards, you gotta like announce consoles and drop news at the Game Awards because you don't have any fucking games worth a damn in the goddamn Game of the Year category. So basically, you gotta like say, well, I'm gonna announce a console at a Game Awards show because fuck, nobody will even know an Xbox exists because we don't even have a goddamn game. Ori, there you go, Ori's around. But they don't even have a goddamn game in the race at all. That's why Phil has to use the Game Awards to announce news, because none of their games are being recommended. Forza will win Best Racer, like, I guess, like the same bullshit. But no Game of the Year contenders, no direct, no Studio of the Year, nothing. None of those things that say that like anything. So they just drop news. Like, the thing is like, as somebody, Glinda said, they're shooting blanks. They don't have balls. You know what? They don't have anything right now. They didn't even have a launch lineup for the console that they released. Like, They don't have anything. And all the stuff people are like, oh, 2021, right? 2021. All the games that they're showing this year was supposed to come out last year. Medium was supposed to come out in November, then got delayed to December. We're supposed to play Halo already. We would have played it already. And the multiplayer would have been played already. Scorn was supposed to come out. Psychonauts 2 was supposed to come out last year. All these games.
Am I happy that they delayed some of their stuff? Yes, because they wouldn't have been good projects. But on the flip side, I'm kind of like, they need to get their shit together. They really do.
Yeah, like
because
like,
they don't. Me as a gamer, I want to own everything to game on, to play different varieties of games. But I'm not interested. I'm not interested in anything they mostly have. And the reason I'm not interested is because they give me no reason to be interested. They don't give me a reason to be like, yes, I need to own your console. And, and it's not, but when you say that, people, you on some fanboy shit. No, not on fanboy shit. The stuff I'm on is like, you need competition. You need to compete against Sony's PlayStation. You need to produce great things against them. If you don't produce great things, I'm not saying say, okay, well, they got Demon Souls, so let's make a Souls kind of game. I'm not saying, well, they got Uncharted.
No.
They got
to read their audience.
You got to come with new original things. And is it going to take time? Yes. But on the flip side, we know it's going to take time. But on the flip side, stop making excuses. And then when you release games like Bleeding Edge and Crackdown, and you expect people to resonate to them and they don't, people are going to always think that, shit. Like, that's why I disagree with David Jaffe about Game Pass. David Jaffe likes Game Pass because, he has, his little issues here and there. Like, he explained why he loved Xbox and why it was, if he had the money, which one he would buy. And he said it. He has ADHD. He said he prefers the.
Well, he liked the quick resume, which is fine.
Yeah,
he liked the quick resume.
But like he said, I have ADHD. I always have to be doing something. He said, so, like, he'll play something, he'll get bored with it, he have to move on to something, he'll get bored, then he'll move on. So quick resume works for him, but at least he admits, okay, I have these problems. This is why I like it. Quick resume for me wouldn't work because I play one game at a time, and I don't really flip flop from. Maybe I may go to another game, but maybe one or two.
But
games.
Quick resume is nice. It's a nice, I guess.
Call of Duty to I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna play Call of Duty. When my friends jump on, and my friends jump on.
Page 20 of Steam sales. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. Like, my thing is like, I think that they need to, as you saw on Friday, they are disconnected with that, and which is incredible because they always make it a point that they are
whoever's in their marketing
connected.
Department needs to get fired.
I think so, because it's Greenberg. Like, the problem.
He needs to be. If it's him, he needs to be fired. Fired.
They don't.
It's bad. Like they're bad. Their marketing.
They don't have. I'm just saying that they don't have, like, they make it, and this is where I get frustrated because people and them make it look like they're so connected with their fans, they listen to them, but meanwhile they do the most disconnected things, and that's where I just don't understand it. Like, I didn't know I wanted an open world samurai game. I didn't know that. Like, I wasn't sitting here going, I want an open world samurai game. I didn't sit here and go, I want what Little Big Planet, but platforming. I didn't sit here and go, I want Miles Morales. I don't think anybody even asked, where's that Miles Morales game? Like the thing is that Sony knows, like, Sony just seems to be knowing what their audience wants and knowing how to market it to make it, even if you don't even know you want it, like a game like Returnal or Days Gone. We're gonna market it to make like you want it. Whereas the Medium, it's like has 14. Like, I don't think those were the best showings. The first 14 minutes of the Medium, I don't think that's good marketing. I don't think that really that kind of shows a very plain game. Like, why don't you show a little mix of things and stuff like that? And why don't you market this properly? Instead, they don't even market these games. I'm surprised they even saw 14 minutes of the stupid game. But the thing is like they just don't. They have this disconnect. And Friday was. Yeah, I don't hear anybody asking for Bleeding Edge too. Bleeding ass. But like the thing is like they don't have they don't have their finger on the pulse. They don't have the finger on the pulse, Frog. The thing is that they don't. Friday was a perfect example. My issue was like, even though they came out and said, hey, we're sorry and stuff, my thing was how do you even let that thing leak out? because you know what? Just like the DRM in 2013, people are still going to think that you're increasing that Xbox Live. That message might not get out to everybody, because I could tell you they were trending on Twitter on Friday because of that negative news. But when they came back and took it back, they weren't trending on Twitter again. That negative news flows a lot faster than the retake. Like, they did a lot of damage PR wise, just like with DRM. Even though they reversed it, people still believe Microsoft did it, and and this is one of the biggest things that happened last gen. They lost trust in Microsoft, knowing that they were willing to do DRM and 24-hour check-ins and listen to you on Connect, and you gave people a reason to doubt you. Friday was another feather in that cap of making people doubt you. And that's the thing. You giving people a chance. You might came back and said, "Oh, we're sorry." And you could see all the articles. Yo, what's up, Salty? You could see all the articles. We got to get Salty on here. Maybe we'll get him next week. The thing is that you saw the articles. Even the articles of their take back were like, Microsoft reverses Xbox Live charges because of internet pushback. People yell, like, it was all this kind of like the internet fought back against the company. And that's why Microsoft backed off. So it still made them look bad. Even though they did good by listening to everybody, the articles still came back going like, what did CNET say? I'll just like read some titles like Xbox Live price. Watch, I'll read some of like what they're saying. It will say, Microsoft backtracks on Xbox Live hikes. Oh shit! You hear me? Frog, I hear myself. Yeah. Okay. Microsoft walks back.
Sorry
Xbox
about that.
Live. New York Post. Microsoft walks back Xbox Live price hike after outrage. The Verge. Microsoft backtracks on Xbox Live price hike. CNET. What they say here? They go. They came right out and go, Microsoft gives Xbox Live a price hike to make Game Pass more tempting. Oh, they saw right through the lines. And then it said, update. They pulled back because of internet pushback. Like, if you look at these articles are not like, Phil saves the day. And then you got people's videos out there. Is Microsoft doubling Live a ripoff? Microsoft reverses Xbox Live price hike. That's Yahoo. Now you still have comicbook.com saying Xbox Live Gold getting massive price. Microsoft decides not to increase. Here's Polygon. Microsoft, the hike reversed. Like, all this stuff reversed. Like, it's still negative. Like, it's still sort of like, hey, they tried to do some bullshit and people fought back. So the thing is that it still is negative press for them, even though they did the right thing. But guess what, Frog? They did it to themselves. And what they did on Friday was show their cards. And they showed that they can't be trusted. And what you need when you want to subscribe to something, Frog, when you subscribe to something, what is the first thing that you're basically, it's not a one and done deal when you subscribe. When you subscribe, one of the first things you expect is that you're going to get taken care of. That's why you subscribe. That's why people subscribe to YouTube channels. By the way, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new, or hit that like button. They hit that subscribe button because they want trusted content. They want more of it, and you get that with a service that's reliable. You get that with a company that won't change the prices just when they feel like it. People who subscribe to Xbox Live and see them just doubling the price in one day on a Friday in January during a pandemic, you think those people are going to go, oh, Microsoft, what's your new service that I'm going to subscribe to? Do you think they want to do that? Do you think that they just want to get back in bed with them after they did this? No. See, that's the thing. Nope. Like, you lost trust with them. This is even worse than what you can be doing. Because back when you were doing the Xbox One and DRM, you lost trust in the gamer. And Sony said, you could come to us with open arms. Sony jumped on that, right? But this, you're trying to sell subscriptions, which means loyalty. You subscribe to a food service. Hey, I get quality food coming in my mailbox. Guess what? As soon as I get it a rotted thing, I'm unsubscribing. I got food boxes coming. Here comes a rotted peach or a rotted lettuce. Well, guess what? They are not quality. I will subscribe to something else. This one's not good. You subscribe for HBO. You watch Stars. Guess I don't like anything on Stars, but I'll watch Power. When Power's done, I don't want anything because I don't like the rest of Stars content. I don't want Stars anymore. You need to provide a service and a reliability for somebody to keep giving you money and just automatically every month. And when you take one of your services that people want, that people are on, right? Hey, you've been a live subscriber for 20 years. Well, guess what? We're jacking up the price overnight. By the way, you should jump on our other subscription, Game Pass, for only $15. And what says in 1 year, 2 years, you don't turn that to $30 a month. You just did it to me now. You lost the goodwill of the subscriber. And that's the problem. And that's the problem. And that's the energy, that the negative energy and the thing that bad PR did on Friday. And on top of that, they don't have any games to support the service, nor to support Xbox Game Pass. Well, I mean, Xbox Gold. And what I don't like is this happening because it gives the other competition ideas. It gives Sony ideas to possibly increase. Like people were saying, like if Microsoft could increase their price to $120, Sony could just come out there and go, we're going to increase PlayStation Plus now $20 more. It still will be cheaper than Xbox. Sony had a whole, Sony's probably like, yeah, approve it. That's great. Approve it. Because guess what? $60 a year, we're going to make it $80. And we're still cheaper than them. And now I'm paying $80 for Sony's service rather than the $60. That's why I don't like what they're doing, because they're being disruptive. Because and I hate, well, I'm gonna say it. And this is it's because they don't give a fuck about gaming. They don't care.
They don't.
They don't care about.
They don't.
They don't. And just like what Steve Jobs said, they don't. And I know it's a business, and I'm saying that Sony is not making money on this. This thing is keeping the lights on at Sony. But what I'm saying is that Microsoft does not care about the gaming medium. Speaking of medium, I'm not talking about that medium. But Microsoft does not care about using games as an art form or as a way of storytelling or a way as like equivalent to what movies are. And that's what gamers want. Gamers want games to be, just as a medium like a movie or a medium like music and be up there and that stuff. And it gets up there. But Microsoft just seems to just want to monetize that to unheard of level. They're not there trying to curate, trying to put the polish on there. Like if you listen to how they developed God of War and how they developed The Last of Us 2 and listen to how Naughty Dog worked on that stuff and the appreciation, and then you go and look at that Halo Infinite gameplay, you're like, you have how many people working on this game? And you got that looking like that? And then on top of that, one other news article that came out today was that they're going to do monthly updates on Halo Infinite, Frog. News updates on Halo. But guess what? They're not going to be like new screenshots or anything like that. They're just going to be like dev diaries, just talking about what direction that they want to take the game in and what kind of things that they're doing. All hyperbole, all just dev talk. They're not going to show gameplay, and he says that. And what was it? It was Halo Infinite updates. Like what do they say? Yeah, here it is. 343 says it right here. It says the community manager, of course, he has to keep his job. He says that monthly high-level updates, which means players can likely expect new Inside Infinite every month leading up to game's release, which we don't know. Since the phrase "at least" was used, it's also possible there'll be more than one update a month. Then he says, he's like, well, I'm not gonna, what did he say? Is this it here? Oh, it was a Reddit comment. I gotta get to the Reddit article. He says here, he goes, that said, we're committed to one high-level update, and the next Halo Infinite is coming out this week, the news update. This month, we're talking to members of the Sandbox team to share some insights to their vision for Halo Infinite and the work that they're doing. And here we go, Frog. Here we go. Typical anything coming out of Microsoft. What does it say? To manage expectations, this won't have world premiere big screenshots or huge things like a date announced. But our goal is to offer our community more context and insights into our team and the game we're making while we're all awaiting the larger beats and full marketing machine later this year.
I don't know what to say, man, other than they don't understand.
That's what they're saying.
They're lost.
So what I think that is that we're going to take a nice stick of butter. We're going to butter that ass. And we're going to make sure that it's nice and lube for when we fuck you. Because what they're trying to do is just make you feel for the team and feel for their direction. And you know what? It's all words. Show me. This game was supposed to come out in goddamn November. Show us. Don't have articles coming out of some guy going, well, the Sandbox is going to be a great opportunity to explore the different parts of the Halo ring. And Master Chief will be able to explore those parts. It's going to be great. Like, no, I don't need a monthly update with that kind of horse shit. Show us Master Chief doing this shit. Show me him transversing, because you showed this game in July and it's been incognito since. So now you're going to do a bunch of text updates every month of some bullshit about the Sandbox team. Like, this is a great like all just hyperbole, all talk. And again, this game was supposed to come out in November, and now they're going to spoon feed your ass, butter that ass, and just kind of take you along the Halo ride so that they're going to set expectations. And then when they show the game, is it going to match the hyperbole talk that they do? And this is what Microsoft is doing. They're basically just spoon feeding you stuff. They try to stay relevant in the news. And, and Friday was a bad miss on their part. And, they did a lot of damage there. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is not the kind of thing that you want to happen when people are looking to buy a new console. And that's the thing. Like, you don't, just like you messed up with the Xbox One and, that whole DRM stuff, now people are going to think that Xbox Live is more money than PlayStation. Don't tell me I'm lying, because it's true, because people still think Xbox has DRM. People still think Xbox has DRM, because guess what? The negative news spread like wildfire, and that's what happened on Friday, and they didn't get ahead of it. They waited to Friday evening to just backtrack, but the problem is the bad news was out there. And now people are looking to buy a console, and guess what? They're gonna think. They might forget about the backtracking unless they listen to some, to something. But they're going to be like, Xbox Live, I heard, is going up in price. Oh, I'm going to get a PlayStation. And that, I'm not saying that they're smart, but I'm saying that the casuals, the people, they're going to do that. They're going to do that.
Yep.
Because they got the news that said, oh, I saw an article where it says Microsoft increasing Live. And I forgot the part where it says, but backtracks or anything like that. The news is out there, and they hurt themselves. Now, from what I heard, I saw somebody saying they knew from the inside, who knows if that's bullshit or not, that Microsoft was furious that this got out, that this went out there. It just shows that they got too many cooks in the kitchen, I guess, if that news gets out there and nobody approved it, like Phil didn't approve it or anything like that. Like, I think it's all bullshit. I think it's all PR talk. I think they knew exactly what they were doing, and they misread the crowd. That's what happened.
Yeah,
they misread the crowd. They thought that Goodwill Game Pass, like Game Pass was the industry darling, because you got guys like Jeff Grubb and Dave Jaffe's and all these other influencers going in Paris and going, Game Pass is a great value. It's great value. You don't need sequels. It's a great value. It's the best. The Game Pass is the best. Game Pass is the best. Game Pass is the best. And they just see all that bullshit. They got blinded by the light, and they thought that this will just go unsung, and people will just say, oh, Game Pass is even a better value now because Xbox Live is more money. Game Pass is even better value. And they thought that those people were going to run with that. They misread it, and it slapped them in the face. And I think the biggest problem they have now is the growth of Game Pass, because they basically now just put a stagnant growth on Game Pass, because now Now, and I love it. You want to know why, Frog? I love that this happened on Friday. Not only because it was bullshit, but because it forces Microsoft to grow Game Pass with the content. And they don't want to do that because they know that that content is going to take a fucking long while, and they don't even know if that content's going to be desirable when it comes out. But the thing is that it strong arms them to drive their service with the content as it should be, not artificially driving it by overpricing the other options. It forces them to now use the content to drive the service, natural growth, and that's what they don't like. They don't like natural growth. They like to buy big studios like Bethesda and just put them in their back pocket. They like to just buy a bunch of studios that, first off, I think it's kind of silly because a lot of these studios make the same type of games. You got Bethesda, but then you bought Obsidian, but then you also bought then you also got then you also got Playground Games making an RPG. Like, wait a second, wait. Playground Games is making an RPG. Then you build out the Initiative. Initiative is making a sci-fi first-person shooter. But wait, 343 makes a sci-fi first-person shooter. Like what's going? Like, what are you doing here? Like, you got these studios making. And then you got Obsidian making Avowed, but then you got a Bethesda with their first-party game making an RPG. But then you got Fable making an RPG. Like, it just seems so. It just seems so overlapping.
It's like they don't know what they want.
Yeah, it's like, well, what is the? And then you got they're gonna make and then Machine Games is gonna make like an Indiana Jones, maybe a third person game, or they're gonna make or make it a first person game. Oh shit! Now we got a first person Indiana Jones game and first person Halo, first person Perfect Dark. Like what are these guys doing? Yeah, like I understand freedom, but like. And then you got Hellblade, a third person. Like, it just seems like there's a lot of overlapping in the type of games that they're making. Like, yeah, I know that Sony, has that too with some of their studios, but I just think, like, if you were buying a bunch of studios, like, I think you would buy ones that are specialists in different areas, or encourage them to make some different, different things. Like, I just don't.
Yep.
Initiative is a perfect example of that. I just don't know who said let's make a first-person sci-fi Perfect Dark. It's like, huh? Wait, I don't know. But,
who said that?
I don't know. Like, I guess that's what they wanted to work on. But we went way over today. But this was a long conversation on this stuff. But I want to thank the chat and thank everybody. Hit that like button.
We'll have more conversation about. I went to a gun show this weekend, and oh my God, COVID Central. All I can say is I was so uncomfortable in there.
Oh man,
so uncomfortable.
Well,
I've never seen so many people that didn't want to wear a mask, and I was like, it's a gun show. And number two, everything is overpriced. Holy crap!
Yeah. Well.
Oh gosh, my dog's about to bark.
Well, Frog, do your outro, and we're gonna call it a night. Thank you guys for the extra long Grindstable Gaming Grindhouse.
Yeah, no problem. So this is Frog's Dreams. Got my dogs back in the barking in the background. Thanks for stopping by. You guys can find me at Frog's Dreams on Twitter. Yeah, man, I had a great time having a conversation about this. My Xbox just needs to do better.
I know, yeah. They need to grow They need to grow naturally, and I think that's the big takeaway here. That was an artificial growth, and they got to grow naturally. And that's one of the things that they don't do as a company. They're not a natural growth company. They like to buy and milk. Mixer, Beam, Nokia with cell phones. They just buy, and they just they're not original ideas, homegrown stuff. And we'll see what they do, but. Just keep an eye on there, and I'm sure they're gonna find other ways to get you on Game Pass or try this again, increase the pricing and reevaluate it. But with that, guys, hit the like button and subscribe. We got a huge subscriber, grew like 18 subscribers over the last couple of days. I want to thank you again for your support. Comment below if you want any topics for next week. Maybe I'll do a Grinds My Gears this week. I'm kind of grinded out. It's only Monday though. We'll see. I'm sure there's something. But we went late tonight. But thank you, Ryan, Pug, and Glinda, and everybody that came through. for checking out the video. Hit that like button. I'm probably gonna start streaming. Maybe I'll do some streaming of some Hitman now that I finished Uncharted 3. But yeah, thank you again, everybody. And this is Jez7780. What grinds my gears? And I am out with the frog.
Peace.
We are out.